Stay tuned for all the excitement of the world champion Cincinnati Reds. Reds Radio is produced solely by the broadcast department of the Cincinnati Reds Incorporated, Jim Winters, director. Now we invite you to listen to Main Spark with Reds manager Sparky Anderson and Marty Brenneman, and Turfside, hosted by Joe Nuxall.
Worried about the high cost of heating your home? Switch your oil or gas heating system to a Carrier electric heat pump. It heats your home for less than half the cost of electrical resistance systems. It can also cool your home in summer. Save money. Call Carrier.
You got a friend on the other end. A friend on the other end.
Call or come into Schmidt Heating and Cooling, 4224 Montgomery Road.
Hey, everybody, do the Cincinnati Shuffle to your radio, because the Reds are coming up, they're getting ready to go. Take off your shoes and relax, enjoy the big red machine, rooting for the hometown champion team. The Reds are coming up, they're getting ready to go, so do the Cincinnati Shuffle to your radio. Johnny Bench will hit one for you long and deep, and Joe Morgan stealing second base in his sleep. Pete Rose is driving all the pitchers insane, and when Sparky does the shuffle, they'll be praying for rain. The Reds are coming up, they're getting ready to go, so do the Cincinnati Shuffle to the radio. Now do that shuffle to your radio. When you have a family, you just can't do it alone. Grange Mutual protects you every day. Grange Mutual with you all the way. Your partner in protection for you and your family and the precious things that you own.
Grange offers you a great lifeline. Ask your accommodating Grange agent to tell you about his extraordinary life insurance. He can tailor the right kind of coverage for the young bachelor, a career girl, the young married, and for those who put off investing in life insurance. What you need is what you get from Grange.
Grange Mutual protects you every day. Grange Mutual with you all the way. Your partner in protection. When you have a family, you just can't do it alone.
This is the Main Spark with manager Sparky Anderson and Marty Brenneman. Brought to you by your Greater Cincinnati and Northern Kentucky Chrysler Plymouth dealers, the men who like to say yes.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to Riverfront Stadium. The Reds against the New York Mets in the final game of the two-game series, with a couple of left-handers going tonight, Freddie Norman for Cincinnati and 10-game winner John Matlack for New York. Last night, the Mets broke the Reds' 4-game winning streak behind left-hander Jerry Koosman, a 2-1 final. And Spark, did you see it, the game last night, as one of the best pitch games against us this season?
I thought it was the best pitch game. We've been shut out, and there's been some other, real fine ball games pitched against us. But I don't think we've had a game where you didn't feel like somewhere along the line you're going to get a shot at him. To be truthful, last night after about the fourth, I never thought we were going to get a shot. The only thing I told Teddy is if we can get somebody on and somebody happens to hit one, that's going to be our shot, Ted. But I don't see us mounting any attack as far as a base hit and maybe another base hit and then an out and a base hit. I couldn't see anything like that because last night he just had super stuff.
Against a pitcher like him, pitching like he did, that's about the only thing you can hope for, isn't it, a long ball?
Yeah, you can hope that maybe somebody boots a ball or you get a flare somewhere and then somebody jolts one real quick and you get ahead 3-2 and then you hold on. But you're not going to mount any rallies when a guy is pitching like that, Marty, and making the good pitches that he was making. It didn't bother him at any time to be behind anybody. If he was ahead of him, he finished him off. If he was behind him, he was patient enough that he waited to make his pitch. He didn't look like that, at any time. He wasn't going to let certain guys beat him. You could see that. He was pitching around them. If they wanted to help him out, fine, but he was not going to challenge and go to them.
The thing, I guess, that most impressed me about his pitching last night was the fact that he was not afraid to throw that curveball in any situation and got it over.
any situation, and he didn't care when it was, 3-1, 2-0, 3-2, and not only that, he was establishing that he was quick enough last night that don't be going out there looking for it, because if you do, you get that fastball in on you, you might get yourself hurt.
Spark, you can't go up there looking for anything special when a man is pitching like that, can you?
The only thing I told David last night, go up and set on a fastball, because he sure the heck wasn't going to hit that other one the way he was throwing it last night. David went up there the one time, he looked over after 2 in a row, 2 curveballs, as if to say to me, well, what do I do now? And the third one, he gave him another one, and he just walked away. I said, well, David, one thing about those new bats you just got, you haven't had a chance to try them out yet.
Spark, Koosman has a reputation for being a cold-weather pitcher. He admitted as much after the game. Were you looking for him to possibly weaken in the late inning?
Well, that's what I thought before the game. You know, I know Jerry does like to pitch in cool weather. He doesn't particularly like real hot weather. He's always said that himself. And I thought, you know, as the game goes along, we'll get him. But after the fourth, I noticed the heat either wasn't hot enough or he didn't buy the heat last night.
We'll be back with more after we pause for this message.
Cordoba. Now, more than ever, you will find it a most thoughtful automobile. Now you can order Cordoba with a revolutionary new engine. An engine that thinks, computer control, to react within 1,000th of a second, to fire with precision, to burn cleanly and evenly, to run so very smoothly, and accelerate responsively. It is ingenious. An engine with a computer which monitors 6 separate engine conditions. An engine which burns leaded or unleaded fuel, yet needs no catalytic converter. This is the marvel of Chrysler's amazing new lean burn engine. Available now in Cordoba.
Get your clearance price on Cordoba at Westwood Chrysler Plymouth, 6186 Glenway Avenue, Cincinnati.
Spark, an unfortunate game, I guess one of many this season for Gary Nolan.
Gary's pitched super. You know, I was at the Insiders today, and somebody asked me, you know, how come Gary Nolan never seems to get no runs? I said, there's only 2 things he ever gets. He either gets rain or no runs, one of the 2. Gary has pitched over the years, you know, other than the years that he was hurt and didn't pitch, but he's pitched super here, and it seems like that every ball game, some way or another, he either hooks up with the outstanding pitcher, or that night, we just don't seem to score runs. I don't know why. I have no answer for it, but a ball game like he pitched last night, you don't have to be ashamed of anything.
Was he getting his stuff up in the first inning?
First inning, he wasn't sharp last night. You know, his control wasn't sharp, and he had a little stiffness in his neck last night, and he was kind of fighting that a little bit early, and then as that started to loosen up, I knew after the first inning, when he went out in the second, I told Teddy, I said, that's it. They won't score no more. And now it's a matter of can we score? And I felt as the first inning, especially Pete hits the first ball out, I said, oh, well, we'll get 3 or 4 tonight, but we didn't.
Spark, why have you held Ken Griffey out for the last couple of nights?
Well, Kenny had his shoulder was bothering him, and still is some, but he had a little, he wasn't feeling too good in the plane ride coming home from the day I put him in the pinch run the last day in Pittsburgh. He had a little problem, not feeling real well. He went in, and when he come in, it was a little dizzy. It wasn't anything serious. His stomach was a little upset, and coming back on the plane, so I just gave him yesterday off. He's playing today.
Everything is okay, though, physically. I mean, there's nothing to be concerned about in his case.
No problems. Just that, you know, might have had a little touch of the flu. We don't know what it was, but it was just not feeling good for 2 days.
Are you pleased with the overall physical situation on your club right now?
Yeah, we're pleased as far as being this long into the season, and, you know, it's tough. We played 92 ball games. Of course, after that, you've taken a little beating. I don't care who you are. Even a manager's stomach takes a little beat. But, really, we're in good physical shape in comparison to everybody else. I don't think that we have any excuses that way or anything like that. It's just time to get ready and get going, though.
We'll be back to wrap it up after we pause again for this.
Hello, everybody. This is Jamboree J. Jones. The J stands for jackets. And at Jamboree Sporting Goods stores, we stand for only the finest quality jackets. Jackets of every size, jackets of every color, and a super selection of styles, including both jacket and coat. Your choice of collar styles, body and leather colors, too. Even a choice of colors for the snaps. Choose from handsome knit combinations with knit cuffs and waistbands. At Jamboree Sporting Goods, we do all of our own lettering and embroidery, so that your jacket is ready to wear in just days. If you haven't already ordered your school or team jacket, don't wait any longer. Fall will be here before you know it. And right now, Jamboree Sporting Goods stores are just bursting at the seams with jackets, and more jackets. Each and every one, first quality, a size, style, and color for every man, woman, and child. Jamboree Sporting Goods stores are located at 11528 Springfield Pike near Kemper, 205 Main Street, Milford, 2107 Ferguson Road in Western Hills, and the Wilmington Plaza Shopping Center. Also at Liberty, Indiana.
Spark, you know, this has been a strange season in more ways than one for us. One big surprise to me has been the fact that, we've been a much better road club this season than we have at home.
Which is crazy. You know, last year we were a great home club, and I always feel a lot better playing at home. I don't know what it is or why, but I don't know. I just feel when we're home, we're a real good ball club, and on the road, you're always a little skeptical because anything can happen, especially on long road trips, guys. Get tired of being away, and you know, the food and everything, and you like to be home playing, but we have not played that way at home. I'm hoping we'll finish because we got 2 good home stands yet at home. If we can really have good times, then we're going to be all right.
Can you remember playing this well on the road before?
Yeah, we had the year before last. We had a great road record. In fact, guys used to say, let's get on the road where we can win. But last year, as I've always felt, that our club is molded for this ballpark. And I really felt that, we'd have another big year this year and here, and we just haven't to this point, but we will.
Okay, the second and final game of this series against the New York Mets before the Reds go back out on the road for a 4-game weekend series in Atlanta. Freddie Norman after his 8th victory for Cincinnati tonight against New York Met left-hander John Matlack. And now on most of these same Reds Baseball Network stations, stay tuned for Joe Nuxhall with a Turfside Show.
This has been the Main Spark with manager Sparky Anderson and Marty Brenneman. Brought to you by Jamboree Sporting Goods, headquarters for all athletic and school jackets.
Time is money, and vacation time in the USA means spending lots of both, unless you're visiting Firestone. Spending less time and less money so you can enjoy traveling more is what Firestone means. That's why they decided to reduce all prices on their famous Deluxe Champion Super Belt, the long mileage 76 new car tire, which flexes 2 fiberglass belts on its polyester cord body. Quality craftsmanship you can now have for $10.20 to $16.55 off the regular June prices, or as little as $25 each for an A78 13 size Blackwall, plus $1.75 federal excise tax exchange. Good timing and great pricing for the budget-minded vacation planner especially. Even the larger size Super Belts cost under $45, and if you prefer white walls, just add $3.25 to $4.25 each. We said less money and less time, too, because the folks at Brogan Oil, 4210 Glenway and Price Hill, mount your new tires fast and absolutely free. So before taking that trip, visit your friends at Brogan Oil, where time is money well spent.
Time now for Turfside with Joe Nuxhall. Brought to you by International Trucks, makers of Scout 2, the all-purpose vehicle that works hard and plays hard.
Hi, everybody. Tonight, the Reds and the Mets wind up the short 2-game series here at Riverfront Stadium. 2 left-handers will go to the mound for New York. It'll be John Matlack for the Reds, Freddie Norman. Our guest on Turfside, the pitching coach of the New York Mets, Rube Walker, and we're going to be back and compare the New York Mets' current pitching staff to a great one that Rube was a part of, received, I should say, for the old Brooklyn Dodgers, and we'll be back with that conversation after this word.
Over-the-road trucking is a tough business, but International trucks are built to help you make it in a tough business. Take International's TransStar 2, the heavy-duty cab-over vehicle that's all muscle, no flag. International designed TransStar 2 to be as dependable as your right arm. It's engineered for greater durability and safety. A dual brake system is standard. So is the 100,000-mile air cleaning system that makes servicing much less of a problem, downtime less prolonged. And International's TransStar Sports single-wall cab construction. This trims the chassis of excess weight, makes for easier repair. International also thought about your personal comfort. That's why you can get TransStar with an 8-track tape deck, and the driver's area doubles as a berth. So if you want to make it in a tough business, TransStar 2 is the one to run with. Might be the only partner you'll ever need. See it at your nearby International dealer.
1200 Guest Street, Queensgate, Cincinnati, and off I-275 between 71 and 75, Cincinnati.
Walker, I guess, tonight. And Rube, you look at the pitching staff of the New York Mets, the Tom Seaver, Jerry Kuzman, John Matlack, and so on down the line. You look back to the great staff that you were able to receive at the Brooklyn Dodgers. How do you compare them?
Well, they're both real strong pitching staffs. Both of them were power pitchers. All of them are power pitchers. And it's kind of hard to compare the two staffs because I feel like that the staff we have now, our 5 starters, are as strong as any pitching that I've been around or I've seen.
Rube, the Dodgers staff, is there any particular pitcher, we'll first of all take Tom Seaver. What pitcher on the old Brooklyn staff might you compare to?
Well, we didn't have one that would compare with Tom as far as Tom's stuff. Now, Newcomb was a hard thrower, had the great arm, great fastball, but he didn't have the curve that Seaver's got. And I don't think that, this way, it'd be hard to compare the two guys. But as far as the control part of it, they both was basically good control pitchers. Newcomb pitched 300 innings and walked 40 men a year, which I thought was fantastic.
In that old ballpark.
Especially in that ballpark is right, because you'd like to walk a lot of those guys that you couldn't walk.
Rube, you look at that Brooklyn pitching staff, and if I remember correctly, Preacher Rowe, the left-handed pitching on the Mets, about 2 yards quicker than old Preach.
Well, yes, they tell me when Preacher first come up, he had a real good fastball. I didn't get to see Preacher when he broke in. I think that was with the old St. Louis Cardinals, and they said Preacher could throw hard then, too, but I never did get to see him when he could throw hard.
What's the story about his spitball? I've heard a lot of things, and I heard the story Pee Wee Reese told it about how Preacher Rowe would get his spitball.
Well, there was a lot of ways that Preacher got it, but he would never let nobody know how he got it. And he wouldn't even let the catchers know that how he got it or when he was going to throw it. We'd just have to be looking for it all the time, be ready to catch it. Just catching off the fastball is all we was doing, Campy and I.
Did you ever find out how he got it?
I never did find out how he got it. He never would tell nobody, but there's a lot of people said that they did know how he got it, but I doubt it. The Preacher never did say that's the way he did. He wouldn't give nobody the satisfaction of saying that they did know how he got it.
Rube, is there anybody that you suspicion throwing a spitball in our league today?
Well, there's a lot of times you see some of those pitches come up there that they got to be wet or there's something on them, because there's some of them that dip pretty quick and acts a little funny, Joe. So, I think there's some guys that are like now throwing it.
Do you think it's a pitch that should be legalized or not?
As far as I'm concerned, it should be legalized, because everybody that can throw it and they can get it over, they're still throwing it, and it's just another pitch. Yeah, I'd say legalize the thing.
Talk about his spitball, Preacher Rowe's spitball. Did he have good control of it? Could he throw it to spots?
Well, Preacher had good control of everything he threw, but his spitter was the ball that he called his screwball. It broke down most of the time, and it wasn't that tough to catch. And he had good control of it. He'd get the ball over. He'd throw it 3-2, and you got to have good control then.
Let's go to the bullpen in the Dodger, that particular era, a guy by the name of Clem Labine, and right now you have a young man by the name of Skip Lockwood.
Well, Clem Labine was a fine relief pitcher. He had a real good sinker and a good curve, and Clem could go to the post every day like Skip can, and Skip, he throws much harder than Clem threw, but he has a good breaking ball too. His curve is good. But Labine had the good sinker, and they're both just fine bullpen pitchers, great relief pitchers.
Left-handed pitching, other than Preacher Rowe, there wasn't much on the Dodger staff that I recall.
Well, we had Carl Spooner, for a year there that I thought was going to be one of the all-time great pitchers, and with the delivery he had, how he hurt his arm, Joe, is still a mystery to all of us. We still don't believe that Spooner hurt his arm with the delivery he had, and he sure had a great his fastball was you compare his fastball with a Koufax and people like that.
How about comparing him to Jerry Koosman, probably more to John Matlack, probably?
Well, yes. Now, Cousy is, people don't realize this, maybe they will sooner or later, but Koosman's fastball is getting better now. In the last, this year it's much better than it was last year. And, he hurt his arm a few years ago, and it took a while for it to come back and get the velocity that he had before, but he's almost back to what he was when he first come up.
You talk about a guy like Jerry Koosman, and this what you see, is it just a mere fact that his arm is finally regaining strength after an arm injury?
Well, Joe, I would have to say that his arm is regaining the strength that he had in the arm before that he hurt the shoulder or whatever injury it was, whatever part of it is in the back and in the shoulder. I don't think it ever really knew what it really was.
The Dodger pitching staff in those years, Rube, to you, who was the best pitcher on the staff?
Well, I would have to say that for the stuff, Carl Erskine in 1952 had as good a stuff as anybody I ever saw. He was the best pitcher I ever caught that year. He had the great fastball, a good curve, and the changeup that was just unbelievable.
We always said it stopped and then came onto the plate.
It sure looked like it backed up at times, Joe.
Rube, where time's gone. We thank you for chatting with us. Very interesting.
Thank you, Joe.
All right. Rube Walker, the pitching coach of the New York Mets. We'll be back with a look at the starting pitchers after this word.
Today in Southwest Ohio, the time you spend in a hospital bed receiving necessary care costs an average of $157 a day. But thanks to advances in medical science, certain tests and treatments previously paid for on an inpatient basis are now paid for on a less costly outpatient basis. Services such as diagnostic x-rays, EEGs, EKGs, organ scans, lab examinations, and emergency care are all available as options to basic Blue Cross and Blue Shield coverage. Check to see if your Blue Cross and Blue Shield coverage includes these benefits. And next time your physician advises tests or treatment, ask about pre-admission testing, same-day surgery, Verticare, and reduced stay. Take advantage of these outpatient programs to help prevent or reduce lengthy and costly hospital and medical care. Together, we can help hold down the rate of increase in health care costs.
Well, the Reds and the Mets close out this short two-game homestand here tonight, and it'll be two left-handers going to the mound for New York. John Matlack for the Reds, Fred Norman. Matlack will be making his 21st start of the year with 11 complete games and a 266 earned run average. He's won 10 and lost 3 in 152 innings, has allowed 127 hits, has struck out 85, has walked 35. This will be Matlack's third start against the Reds this year. He was not involved in the decision. A 2-0 win for the Reds in 11 innings on May the 5th. In that particular game, he allowed 6 hits and no runs in 9 2/3 innings and was forced to leave the game because of a cramp in his left hand. Beat the Reds 7-5 on May the 16th, giving up 9 hits, including a home run by Pete Rose and 5 runs, all of them earned. Lifetime against Cincinnati, he has won 3 and lost 8. Freddie Norman in his 11th start of the year with 4 complete games and a 289 earned run average. Fred has won 7 and lost 2 in 84 innings. He has allowed 68 hits, striking out 58 and walking 38. This will be Fred's second start and third appearance against New York this year. He lost 5-3 a decision to Tom Seaver on May the 4th, giving up 2 runs, 5 walks, and no hits in 2 innings. Fred was not involved in the decision, a 7-5 New York win on May 16th, allowing 1 hit, no runs, and 3 innings of relief. Lifetime against New York, Fred has won 3 and has lost 4. So those are your starters. John Matlack, 10-3. Fred Norman, 7-2. Stay tuned. We'll be back with play-by-play in just a couple of minutes.
You've just heard Turfside with Joe Nuxall. Brought to you by Blue Cross and Blue Shield in Southwest Ohio. Saving healthcare dollars is everyone's responsibility.
Hello, Gene Lehman, Riverside Ford. Great news for economy-minded small car buyers. 1976 Pinto sales at Riverside Ford have been tremendous. We've probably sold more Pintos than a Ford dealer in the Midwest. How can we do it? Because we give you the $200 down payment for a new 1976 Pinto Pony. A brand new 1976 Pinto Pony equipped with a 4-speed transmission and white wall tires. The sales price is $3,056. We give you our check for $200 for a down payment. Leaves a balance of $2,856 to be financed. Finance charges are only $828, making your total amount of payments $3,684 at an annual percentage rate of only 13.09. For 48 months, you will pay only $76.75 a month. That's right. For only $76.75 a month, you can own a brand new 1976 Pinto Pony from Riverside Ford in Newport, Kentucky.
WLW Cincinnati. You can't lose when you buy a 95-inch electric riding mower at International Harvester. After 30 days, you get $100 or your money back, if not completely satisfied.
The world champion Cincinnati Reds are on the air. It's the Reds on Radio with Marty Brenneman and Joe Nuxall. Reds baseball is brought to you by the Stroh Brewery Company, family brewers for more than 200 years. And by Marathon Oil Company, people who make their living doing the best they can. By the Pepsi-Cola Bottling Company of Cincinnati, bottlers of Pepsi-Cola, Dr. Pepper, and Schweppes products. By Frisch's. At breakfast time, lunchtime, or any time you're hungry, there's always a Frisch's nearby. By the First National Bank of Cincinnati, a good place to put your money and your confidence. And by Riverside Ford in Newport, a block and a bridge from downtown Cincinnati. Now, for all the play-by-play action of Cincinnati Reds baseball, we go to Marty Brenneman and Joe Nuxall.
Good evening, everybody. From Riverfront Stadium in Cincinnati, Joe Nuxall and yours truly, Marty Brenneman, welcoming you to Reds baseball. Final game of the two-game set against Joe Frazier's Mets tonight, and a couple of left-handers going, Freddie Norman against John Matlack. We'll be back to take a look at the starting lineups in just a moment.
I'm Conway Twitty, and I'd like to tell you something. This land's been good to me. Oh, it's good to see how some things have stood the test of time. Like folks who love their fellow man, take pride in working with their hands, pride in carrying on the family name. They expect the same. Some things should never change, like the hot cornbread that your mama made, or young folks splashing in a swimming hole, or the satisfaction that you get seeing fields you planted grow. As you end a good day with the great taste of Stroh's beer for more than 200 years. The great taste of Stroh's.
Conway Twitty for the Stroh Brewery Company, Detroit, Michigan.
If you're ready now, the starting lineups for the New York Mets, leading off and playing center field. Just picked up in a deal with the Montreal Expos last night, Pepe Mangual. Batting second and playing second base, Felix Millan. John Milner will be in left field, batting third. Hitting fourth at first base, Joe Torre. Mike Vail will be in right field, batting number 5. Hitting sixth and doing the catching, Jerry Grody. Roy Steger at third base will bat 7th. Hitting 8th at shortstop, Bud Harrelson. And hitting 9th and pitching for the Mets, left-hander John Matlack. Again for New York, it's Mangual in center, Millan at second base, Milner in left field. Torre at first, Vail in right, Grody catching. Steger at third, Harrelson at shortstop, and Matlack on the mound. For Cincinnati, Pete Rose will lead off and play third base. Hitting second in right field, Ken Griffey. Joe Morgan will play second and bat third. The cleanup batter, left fielder George Foster. Johnny Bench doing the catching will hit 5th. Batting 6th and playing first base, Tony Perez. Davey Concepcion at shortstop will bat 7th. In the 8th spot in center field, Cesar Geronimo. And hitting 9th and pitching is left-hander Fred Norman. Again going over the Reds batting order, it's Rose at third, Griffey in right field, and Morgan at second base. Foster in left. Bench catching, Perez at first base. With Concepcion at shortstop, Geronimo in center field, and Norman pitching. This broadcast is authorized under broadcasting rights granted by Cincinnati Reds Incorporated solely for the entertainment of our listening audience. Any publication, rebroadcast, or other use of the descriptions and accounts of this game without the express written consent of Cincinnati Reds Incorporated is prohibited. The announcers on this broadcast are employed by the Cincinnati Reds Incorporated. Joe, a couple of left-handers going tonight, and I guess if we have one consoling influence before we start play is that there is no way we would think John Matlack could pitch a better game than Jerry Koosman did.
I'd have to say it'd be very difficult because Jerry certainly did crank up a gem last night. And, of course, Matlack's capable of pitching the same ball game. You can't take it away, but Freddie Norman also is capable of pitching a good ball game similar to Koosman. So, if both of them are right, we could see another excellent and well-pitched ball game.
We're ready to go as Pepe Mangual leads it off. He chops one out in front of the mound. Up with the ball, Norman barehanded, throwing him out to Tony Perez at first base, and this game is underway. Pepe Mangual picked up last night in a 2-for-2 swap with the Montreal Expos. Wayne Garrett and Del Unser going to Montreal in return for this man who just tapped out to Norman Mangual and reserve outfielder Jim Dwyer. So with one pitch, Norman has recorded an out, and he'll go to work on the Mets second baseman, Felix Millan. It was a dandy last night. The Mets scored 2 in the first. We got the home run from Rose in the bottom of the inning, and that was the extent of the scoring as the Mets won behind Koosman 2-1. Outside a ball to the right-handed batting second baseman, Millan. Norman, after his 8th victory, he's lost but twice and has a fine .289 earned run average. He's facing Millan, who steps in at .259 with a homer and 14 runs batted in. Here's a pitch to the plate, swung on a bouncing ball by the mound. Concepcion gobbles it up and throws him out. 2 away. Left fielder John Milner will be the 2-out batter here. Milner hitting at a .276 average with 10 home runs. He's driven across 45. Now we need a win tonight to remain 6 up in front of the Dodgers. They moved 2 within 6 last night with a 3-2 victory behind Doug Rowell of the Cardinals, and they won this afternoon in 10, 7-6. Fastball is high and tight, ball 1. Perez, Morgan, Concepcion, and Rose make up the Reds' infield defensively. Foster, Geronimo, Griffey left, center, and right, and Bench behind the plate. Check swing by Milner. It's 2 balls and no strikes. On deck is first baseman Joe Torre. Mangual has bounced back to the mound, and Millan has been thrown out by Concepcion. Here is a pop that'll be out of play. Dropping into the seats behind the Cincinnati dugout. 2 balls and a strike on John Milner. This is the second start of the year and the 3rd appearance for Norman against New York. He lost a 5-3 decision to Tom Seaver on May 4th, one of only 2 losses he suffered all year. Swung on and fouled. And the left-handed batting Met outfielder is even against the Reds' left-hander Norman at 2-2. Dick Stello, our plate umpire. Jim Quick is at first base. Billy Williams umpiring at second, and Harry Wendelstadt over at third. Norman trying to knock him off 1, 2, 3 in the first inning. Left-hander looking back into Johnny Bench for the sign. And he comes to the plate with a 2-2 offering. That is strike 3 call. A fastball that cut the inside corner, and the side is out. The Mets are down 1, 2, 3, and after a half inning of baseball, New York nothing, and the Reds are coming to bat.
There's a feeling around, it's America's sound. Pepsi people feeling free. Free to choose a new way, free to stand up and say, you be you and I'll be me.
Pepsi-Cola Bottling Company of Cincinnati is pleased to announce the Cincinnati Reds 1975 World Champions commemorative bottle free with the purchase of a 6-bottle carton of 32-ounce Pepsi-Cola. For a limited time, when you purchase a 6-bottle carton of 32-ounce Pepsi-Cola, you receive free a 16-ounce Cincinnati Reds 1975 World Champions commemorative bottle. 5-cent deposit required on each bottle.
Join the Pepsi people.
Get yours today at participating dealers.
26-year-old left-hander John Matlack on for the Mets as we move on to the bottom of the first inning, and this young man may well be on his way to his best year ever in a New York Met uniform. Top season win-wise was 1975 when he rang up 16 victories, and already this year has won 10 and lost only 3 with a 2.66 ERA. Matlack will be making his 21st start. He has 11 complete games and is 1-0 against Cincinnati this season and 1 no decision. He beat us 7-5 with a complete game here on the 16th of May, giving up 9 hits and 5 runs while not gaining a decision in a 2-0 11-inning Reds victory on the 5th of May in Shea Stadium. It'll be Pete Rose to start it off as usual. He opened the game with a bang last night with an opposite field home run on Koosman's first pitch, his 7th of the year. Here's Matlack's pitch to him, and Rose bounces one over the head of Steger, fielded by Harrelson, and will not even attempt to throw. An infield hit by Rose on a high chop over the head of third baseman Roy Steger. Harrelson came up in the hole at shortstop, but elected to hang on to the ball.
Well, let's hope that leads to better things than last night. He led off the game with a home run last night, and that was it. So maybe this will mean we'll get a few as the boys say, scores tonight.
We need it to gain a split in this two-game series. And with Rose at first base, here's Ken Griffey returning to the lineup after a two-game absence. Kenny hitting .330. Matlack checking Rose at first base and comes to the plate. Griffey takes it outside a ball. They've got Torre at first base with Mian at second, Harrelson short, rookie Roy Steger at third. John Milner is in left field, Pepe Mangual is in center, and Mike Vail in right. Brody behind the plate hangs a sign for Matlack. His 1-0 pitch to Griffey. That is taken off the plate, and high ball 2. 2-0. Well, we pointed it out so many times, when you're facing the quality pitchers in the National League, the Matlacks, the Kuzmans, the Sievers, people of this nature, you hope you can get them early, because more often than not, they seem to really gain momentum and effectiveness as the game progresses. Matlack needs a strike as he sends it in, and Griffey fouls this one off. 2 balls and 1 strike to him. Griffey second in the National League in runs scored behind the man who is at first base right now, Pete Rose. Rose has tallied 80 runs, and Griffey has crossed the plate a total of 70 times. Quite a 1-2 combination when you have him hitting first and second in your lineup. Here's a throw to first base, and Rose steps back. Morgan is on deck. Home half of the first inning from Riverfront, no score. The Mets were out 1-2-3. Griffey with a fly ball hit into left center field. Milner and Mangual both going into the gap, and that ball is going to be caught by Pepe Mangual as he and Milner crisscross in deep left center field.
Marty, you'd have to say that John Milner misplayed the ball. It was coming right back to him, and it appeared that John, well, I wouldn't think he lost it, but I certainly think he misplayed it. He should have caught the ball, and Mangual, I think, was really looking for him to catch it up until the last split second when he made a catch down around his knees.
One away in the inning for Joe Morgan. .317 batting average for the Reds second baseman. 17 homers and third in the league in RBIs with 69. And that infield double play depth. Morgan checks his swing on a high and tight pitch. Ball 1. L.A. winning at 11, 7-6. Winning pitcher in that game, Charlie Huff. The loser, Al Raboski. Reggie Smith had a couple of home runs, and Davey Lopes at his second in as many games in that series. 2-0 now on Morgan. Matlack, a somewhat deliberate worker. Rose bounces off the back against a holding Joe Torre. Morgan swings and fouls it straight back, and it's 2 balls and 1 strike on him. This is the 6th full season for Matlack with the Mets. He came up for 7 games in 1971 and has been with them full time since the 72 season. Never failed to win less than 10 games. Swing and a foul to the screen, 2-2. Rung up records of 15-10, 14-16, 13-15, and 16-12. And a lot of people still are of the opinion that John Matlack has really not yet reached his full potential, and that is running off big winning seasons consecutively. Certainly have to feel he's got a good shot at having his big year win-wise this season. Morgan grounds one to Torre. Torre deals to Harrelson. Harrelson's return throw, and not in time with Matlack covering to get the double play on Joe Morgan. They force Rose 3-6 at second base. And the inning continues for left fielder George Foster. Foster had 2 of the 5 Cincinnati hits last night. In fact, he and Pete had 4 of them. Foster with a couple of singles. Rose, in addition to the home run, also had a single. George batting .325. With 2 out, Joe Morgan at first base in the bottom of the first inning. We'll be off tomorrow, and then we'll be on to Atlanta Friday morning. Single game there Friday night. Twin bill on Saturday, and a Sunday night game. Santo Alcala will pitch the series opener Friday night for the Reds against knuckleballer Phil Niekro. Don Gullett, Pat Zachary Saturday against Andy Messersmith and Frank LaCourte. And Sunday, Gary Nolan will go against Dick Ruthven. Morgan a big lead at first base, and Matlack throws that way. Well, Matlack staring intently into Grody, but Foster out of the batter's box, and see what Morgan will do here with 2 down. Comes set, and again he works to first base, and again Joe hustles quickly back to the bag. George with those 74 RBIs, needing only 4 more to match his major league high of 78 of last year. There goes Morgan. The pitch taken, the throw down to second base, not nearly in time. It glances off of Beyond's glove, goes into shallow right center, and now Morgan gets a hole sign as he rounds third base. Well, we almost had a shot at getting him in. A stolen base for Joe Morgan. His 26th of the year, and a throwing error against Jerry Grody on a ball that hit off of Beyond's glove and kicked out into shallow right center. And for a moment there, it looked as if Morgan might have gotten the green light to come home, but Vail recovered quickly.
Well, that's the thing. Vail getting in there and moving with the play. He was moving toward the infield as Joe broke, and the throw was released by Grody. Had he not, Joe definitely had a chance, and Vail hustling saved a run possibly.
The pitch was a ball to Foster. Morgan now at third base with 2 out, and George takes one that bounces up there, but Grody knocks it down out in front of the plate. Ball 2. Rose began it with an infield hit to shortstop. Griffey flied out. Morgan hit into a force play, and Joe has stolen second and has come on to third on Grody's throwing error. Matlack with a look in. Very slow come down to the belt, and the pitch. Swung on and popped out of play to the right. 2-1 to George Foster. And 40,000, almost 41,000 people here last night to see the pitching duel. Got a good crowd on hand again tonight. The Reds trying to get Morgan in the first inning from third base. Matlack sends it in, and Foster takes a strike. It's 2 balls and 2 strikes to him. This is the final time for the Mets in Cincinnati in '76. We still have 1 trip remaining into New York to play them, and that'll be coming up on the long road trip the first part of the month of August. Swing and a miss. Foster strikes out swinging, and the side retired. The Reds, no runs, 1 hit, 1 error with 1 left, and after 1 complete, the Reds and the Mets, no score. Tonight's game closes out the current homestand for the Reds. The club will be back at Riverfront Monday night for a big week of baseball. First, it's 3 night games with the Giants, then the Padres visit. A night game next Thursday, a twilight doubleheader on Friday. Shrine night will be Saturday, and George Foster Poster Day on Sunday. Plan to be on hand for all the fun and excitement, and be sure to purchase your tickets in advance. 2, 3, and 4 for the Reds. Bottom of the inning against Matlack. Ken Griffey, who flied to center in the first inning, leads it off. Griffey takes a pitch up a ball. Only 3 hit total in the game. The Reds have had 2. An infield hit in the first by Rose. A second inning single by Concepcion. Foul ball will be back onto the screen back of the plate. 1 ball and 1 strike. Matlack has not walked anybody and has had at least 1 strikeout in every inning. He totals 4 right now. 1-1 the count on Griffey with Morgan on deck, and then George Foster. Each club has had a runner at third base, but so far no score. Up high, 2 balls and a strike. The Reds 57 wins and 35 losses, 10-6 here in the month of July. Griffey with a foul ball on a high fastball, 2-2. While the New York Mets are 49-46. They're 14 back of Philadelphia, who chalked up an earlier win today. And 3.5 games behind second place Pittsburgh, who has also won They defeated Houston in the first of that twin bill by a final score of 5-1 as Jerry Royce won his 10th game. Matlack ready with a 2-2 pitch to Griffey, and here it is. Ground ball by the mound, base hit into center field. Well, that might be an indication of good things to come in this fourth inning as Griffey opens up with a hard ground ball single to center. Joe Morgan is 0 for 1. He reached on a fielder's choice in the first inning. Then picked up a stolen base and advanced to third on the same play when Grote's throw went off of Millon's glove into the outfield. Oh, we'll have to see if Griffey's going to be running. Matlack. There goes Griffey. Pitch is taken, a strike, and Grote cannot get the ball out of his glove. Well, the second stolen base of the night for the Reds as Griffey comes up with his 23rd. And I'll tell you, as good a pitcher as Matlack is, the one thing you can do on him, if you have any speed at all, is run, because he's very slow coming to the plate. Got that big high kick with the right leg, and already the Reds have burned him twice in the game. Morgan in the first, and now Griffey leading off the fourth inning. We got a runner at second base with nobody out. Morgan line drive, base hit right field. Here comes Griffey. He rounds third as the ball gets away from Vail. Morgan goes to second, and we lead 1-0. Well, the speed of Ken Griffey set up the run as he stole second and comes in on a single to right field. There's going to be an error charge to Mike Vail and credit Joe Morgan with his 70th RBI of the year. Now George Foster with a run in. Morgan at second base on the error by Vail and nobody out. Foster struck out in the first. And Leon sneaking in behind the second base bag, and Foster jumps away from the pitch. A slider low and inside. Well, Joe Morgan banging in his 70th run of the year, and Foster has a chance to get his 75th with a hit. Off-speed pitch for a strike, and Foster, who very rarely conjures up an argument with a plate umpire, that time turned around and took a look at Dick Stello and simply shook his head. 1 ball and 1 strike. The Reds have broken the scoreless tie in the fourth inning and have a chance to get another one. Matlack, a look to second base and onto the plate. Low and inside, ball 2. 2-1. Atlanta-Montreal, 0-0 in the second inning. That is the only other game besides ours here that is going on in the National League tonight. And, of course, Houston and Pittsburgh still with a second game to play in their twin bill. Foul ball, off-speed pitch at him out in front. It's 2 balls, 2 strikes. Matlack mopping his brow on a warm, humid night in Cincinnati. We had a bunch of rain late this afternoon, but it let up and were able to get the game underway on time. 2-2, a run in. Morgan leading at second base. Millon straddling the second base bag, and now here's a foul ball down the right field line and into the seats. Foster is not homered against the Mets this season, and right now would be a good time to get his first. Matlack has a propensity for giving up the long ball. He leads the Met pitching staff with 12. The 2-2 delivery again. Struck him out swinging for the second straight time. We'll pause for station identification on the Cincinnati Reds Baseball Network.
Radio 7 WLW Cincinnati. Those big hauls call for big power, yet economical operation. Go with International. Their diesel-powered trucks are designed to save you money at your International dealer.
1-0 John Matlack has just picked up his 5th strikeout as Foster goes down swinging, and now Johnny Bench, who was thrown out by the Met pitcher as a leadoff batter in the 2nd. Here's a pitch to the plate. There goes Morgan to 3rd, and no throw by Grody as Joe gets his 2nd steal of the game. All we need now is a fly ball, at the least, to get Morgan in, as Joe has stolen 3rd, his 27th steal, and his 2nd tonight. Mets infield now comes in. Matlack studies the sign from Grody. The stretch and the pitch. Swing and a miss. Well, tonight in Montreal, and boy, this is big news. Cincinnati's Gary Hall has captured a gold medal in the Olympics, winning the 100-meter butterfly. That is great, great news. Had a chance to meet Gary Hall this past winter, and you talk about a dedicated athlete, boy. Here's a line drive, hit to left. It's going to be foul. One ball and 2 strikes on Johnny Bench. 1-0 Cincinnati as we bat in the 4th inning. We've got a potential 2nd run 90 feet away, and Joe Morgan. Matlack certainly viewing this one as a mighty, mighty big out if he can get Bench. And he got him with a strikeout swinging on an off-speed pitch that had John way out in front. Well, Matlack continues to roll up the strikeouts. That's number 6. As he gets Foster and Bench back-to-back and facing Tony Perez as the Mets infield now drops back to normal depth. Tony struck out swinging in the 2nd. The pitch, low and inside. Matlack checking Morgan over his right shoulder at 3rd base. Tony takes his pitch high, ball 2. Well, Joe said that over the leg problem is going to be running and running often in the 2nd half of the season, and he's already stolen 2 in this one. Matlack behind and needing a strike at the expense of Perez. Tony ground one over 3rd base. There's Stager. He's got the long throw, and it's in time to get Tony and end the inning. The Reds get 1 run, however, on a couple of hits, 1 Met error, and 1 man left on. And at the end of 4, it's Cincinnati 1 and New York 0.
Do you know everything Frisch's is? A family place to eat. A morning meal, a late night treat. Say, how about next time out, stopping by? Stop in and say hi. Have a piece of pie. Dining in, it's delicious. Carry out your favorite dishes. Frisch's makes more of your favorites taste so good. A tasty meal, come and get it. The way you feel, you won't forget it. Come see the good people at Frisch's, 'cause Frisch's has so much more. Frisch's has so much more. Hello, Mountain Dew, with the lemony look of sunshine and the different taste that's right for you. It's fresh as sunrise. It pours like sunshine, refreshing as morning the whole day through. Hello, sunshine. Hello, sunshine. Hello, Mountain Dew.
the lemony freshness and color of sunshine. Brighten your day with Mountain Dew.
Hello, sunshine.
Free a 16-ounce Cincinnati Reds 1975 World Champions commemorative bottle with the purchase of a 6-bottle carton of 32-ounce Pepsi-Cola at participating dealers.
Well, a good scoreboard stopper tonight. The question, the last National League relief pitcher to fan 6 consecutive batters. And you might have guessed for the rest of your life and not come up with the answer to that one. Don Gullett, who struck out 6 straight New York Met hitters in the second game of a doubleheader on the 23rd of August back in 1970. Concepcion is 1 for 1. He singled a right off Matlack in the second inning. Ground ball will be foul at third base. The Reds have scored the only run. Griffey opened the 4th inning with a single, stole second, and came in on Morgan's base hit. Joe went to second on the error by Vail, then stole third. Foster bench strikeouts. Perez a ground ball to third. Matlack got tough to leave that potential second run at third base. 1 ball, 1 strike. That is a check swing, slowly hit ground ball to third. Steger up with the ball. Quick throw to first base, not in time. Steger made a good play on the ball, but Davey beat the throw for an infield hit, number 5 of the game for Cincinnati.
Marty, that was a fine play by John Steger, and he got an awful lot on the ball. A good throw, I don't know. Been very close.
Davey 2 for 2. Here's Geronimo, who Matlack struck out in the 3rd inning. Interesting, both Matlack and Seaver, the 2 foremost hammers in this Met rotation, both with losing records against Cincinnati lifetime. Matlack is only 3 and 8. High throw to first base. Torrey has it, and David's back. Reds have had hits in every inning with the exception of number 3. Now Matlack with a step off the pitching rubber. Matlack delivers, swing and a miss. Well, we got some incorrect information from Montreal. Gary Hall won the bronze medal, not the gold medal, in the 100-meter butterfly in a sweep for the United States. They went 1-2-3 with Hall of Cincinnati getting the bronze medal. Still a good effort. Here's a throw to first again. A strike on Geronimo. Matlack throwing to first. Concepcion has stolen 12 times in 16 attempts. Gotta figure he's going to be going sooner or later. Geronimo takes it in on him for a ball, 1-1. In the American League in the 7th inning, Chicago behind rookie Chris Knapp leads the Tigers 4-1. California, Cleveland, 0-0 in the 3rd. Throw to first. Oakland and the New York Yankees, it's 1-0 after a half inning of play at Yankee Stadium. Milwaukee, Kansas City, Boston, Minnesota, and Baltimore at Texas. Here's a foul ball to the screen. Well, we're going to say not yet underway, but Milwaukee leading Kansas City 2-0 after an inning and a half. And the Oriole-Ranger game about to start. Dave Pagan for Baltimore and Bert Blyleven for the Rangers. Chicago has defeated Detroit 4-1. Knapp the winner with a 4-hitter, and Rule took the loss for the Tigers. Well, Matlack paying a lot of attention to Concepcion. He has Geronimo down, a ball and 2 strikes. Nobody out in the home 5th inning, and 1-0 Reds to score. Matlack steps off the pitching rubber again. Now the left-hander with a side. The pitch. Fastball high, 2-2, and he had Davey going back to the bag as he made the kick and the pitch to the plate. Two-two pitch. Swung on and lashed it by Harrelson into left field for a hit. Soft line drive. Base hit left field for Cesar Geronimo, and it'll be Freddie Norman up there in a definite sacrificing situation with 2 on and none out. Norman, after chopping one along the third baseline in the third inning that just went foul, ended up striking out. And now we're going to get somebody up working in the New York Met bullpen for the first time tonight. It's going to be right-hander Bob Apodaca. Torrey is in at first, Steger likewise at third. Norman bunts, third baseline, foul. Davey opened the inning with an infield hit to third base, and Geronimo has gone the other way with a single to left. The Reds are trying to stir something up in inning number 5 with 2 on, nobody out, and already a 1-0 lead. Here's a pitch. Concepcion breaks for third. Here's a bunt back to the mound. Matlack throws on to Millan covering at first base, and Davey was running full bore to third base when Matlack came to the plate with a pitch. Credit Norman with a 1-4 sacrifice and bring to the plate leadoff batter Pete Rose. Rose has had an infield hit. He has been thrown out by Millan, and once again we've got a Red batter up there against a drawn-in Mets infield, and before Rose looks at Matlack, Grote's going to go to the mound. Brief meeting it is as Grote comes on back to the plate. So 2 in scoring position, Concepcion at third, Geronimo at second. Let's see what transpires here as Matlack finishes rubbing up the baseball, and in checking in with Jerry Grote, he wants to look at it again. Here comes a pitch to Pete. Swung on and hammered to right field. That's going to be caught by Vail. Here's a tag by Concepcion. Here comes a throw to the plate, well off the low mark. David is in to make it 2-0. Grote going off to the right and well off to the right of home plate to take Mike Vail's throw on Rose's line drive sacrifice fly to right field. Geronimo holds at second as the score mounts to 2-0, and here is Ken Griffey. 1 for 2 with a run scored. Pete getting his 41st run batted in. Griffey swings, ground ball to first base. There's Torrey throwing to Matlack covering, and they just got the out at first. And that ends the inning. 1 run, 2 hits, 1 left. Through 5, the Reds over the Mets, 2-0.
What's good and cold and loved all over? Stroh's 12-can Stay Cold pack. Because it's made to get 12 cans of Stroh's beer cold and to help keep them good and cold until you need them. And it's a neat package to have around. The cans are easy to get to. They roll right out when you need them. And you can dispose of the empties just by putting them back in the pack. For a party or picnic or any occasion where beer lovers gather, put a few Stroh's Stay Cold packs around. The beer stays cold and smooth and mellow. And it's right there at your fingertips when you're thirsting for a cool, fresh-tasting beer. So roll out the beer in Stroh's easy-to-carry compact Stay Cold 12-pack.
From one beer lover to another, Stroh's beer. From one beer lover to another, Stroh's.
The Stroh Brewery Company. Company, Detroit, Michigan.
The splash of a paddle wheel on water and the echoing cry of a ship's whistle were sounds that you would find in almost any large river a century ago. Some ships carried high stacks of cargo bound for port. Others hosted fashionable men and women enjoying the good life in this day of the floating palace. At the Ohio River Museum, those yesterdays are still alive. You can tour a real stern-wheeler and a river flatboat, wander through exhibits of steamboat and river memorabilia, and watch a colorful multimedia show. The Ohio River Museum is waiting for you on Front Street in Marietta.
Ohio's yesterdays are waiting for you to see. An adventure story that's real and true, and it all belongs to you.
A bicentennial message from the Marathon Oil Company.
We go to the top of the 7th inning. Freddie Norman leading it 3-0 as he has fired one-hit baseball at the Mets through the first 6. We'll be facing Felix Millan to begin this one, and back to call the action for you. Here's Joe.
All right, Marty. Millan has been to the plate twice in the game. Grounded to short. He's grounded to second. Freddie has allowed just one hit through 6 innings, that being a triple off the bat of John Milner in the 4th inning with 2 out. Norman has allowed just 3 balls to be hit out of the infield. A fly ball off the bat of Torrey in the 2nd inning, and then Steger and Harrelson in the 3rd inning. Since then, nothing has left the infield. All right, Millan steps in, a .259 batting average. Norman into the wind and delivers to Felix Millan outside the ball. Reds leading at 3-0. Scoring a run in each the 4th, 5th, and 6th innings off John Matlack. Norman the 1-0. That's swung on and hit to left field. And there is George Foster waiting and makes the catch. 1 away, and here's John Milner. Milner was called out on strikes in the 1st, tripled to right in the 4th. Reds have out-hit the Mets 7-1. New York with a couple of errors that did help the Reds in their scoring. Norman delivers. It's swung on and bounced over the Cincinnati dugout and strikes a fan and back into the Reds dugout. West Coast this afternoon, the Phillies beat the Padres 5-1. Jim Cott the winner. He's 10-5 now for Philadelphia. And Priestleben the loser, 6-7. Milner grounds one to Morgan. Hustling the bag is Perez. Joe Stroh gets him by a step and quickly 2 away. Freddie has now retired 9 straight. He had retired 11 straight until Milner's hit in the 4th inning. Norman has had a 3-ball count on just 2 batters. Joe Torrey to the plate. Joe 0 for 2, a fly ball to right, and a line to Rose in the 4th. Norman delivers. Torrey takes a fastball high. Freddie looking for his 8th win of the year. He's back to the plate. That swung on and popped into shallow center. Going out Morgan, coming on Geronimo. Morgan calls and makes the catch, and that's it. 10 straight for Freddie Norman. They side out in order, and at the middle of the 7th, the Reds 3, the New York Mets nothing.
I'm Conway Twitty, and I'd like to tell you something. This land's been good to me. Oh, it's good to see how some things have stood the test of time. Like folks who love their fellow man, take pride in working with their hands, pride in carrying on the family name. They expect the same. Some things should never change, like the hot cornbread that your mama made, or young folks splashing in a swimming hole, or the satisfaction that you get seeing fields you planted grow. As you end a good day with the great taste of Stroh's beer.
Twitty for the Stroh Brewery Company, Detroit, Michigan.
Well, the Reds lead it 3-0 as they bat in the bottom half, bidding number 7, Geronimo, Norman, and Rose to face reliever Bob Apodaca. Apodaca came into the game in the 6th inning with 2 out and a count, 1 ball, 2 strikes to Dave Concepcion and struck him out. Jack Bellingham getting in some throwing down in the Cincinnati bullpen. Geronimo 1 for 2, struck out in the 3rd, single to left in the 5th. Apodaca to the plate, high and outside with a fastball. 10 innings, the Dodgers beat the Cardinals this afternoon at Dodger Stadium, 7-6. Giants over the Cubs, 2-1. 1-0 to Geronimo inside, 2 balls, no strikes. The Cubs had scored a run in the top of the 9th inning at Candlestick. The Giants came back with 2 in the bottom of the 9th to win it. 2-0 delivery. Geronimo looks at it, down low, and it's 3 balls, no strike. John Madlack worked 5 2/3 innings, allowing 7 hits, striking out 6, walked 1, 3 runs, all 3 of them earned runs. Apodaca is in with a strike. Count 3-1 now to Geronimo. Back to the plate, Apodaca. That's swung on, a very high pop to left field. John Milner moving toward the line now there and waiting, and makes the catch for out number 1. 1 down, Freddie Norman to the plate, and boy, he's pitched a fine baseball game tonight. Freddie 0 for 1, struck out in the 3rd and put down a sacrifice bunt in the 5th when the Reds got their 2nd run of the ball game. Norman, a switch hitter, he's hitting left-handed against the right-hander Bob Apodaca. Now wind the pitch. Norman swings and lines it to left field, a base hit. Bud Harrelson almost got to it. So Norman gets a base hit, but Freddie, that is his 5th hit of the season. Hit number 1 off Apodaca and number 8 for the Reds off New York pitching. So Norman at first base with 1 away, and Pete Rose steps in. Rose 1 for 2, had an infield single in the 1st inning, grounded to 2nd in the 3rd, and a sacrifice fly in the 5th. Pete's 41st RBI of the year. This is his first time hitting left-handed. Apodaca delivers. It's bounced back to the mound to Harrelson 1. To Torrey, a double play. The play going 1-6-3, and for the Reds, that's the 64th double play they've hit into this year. In the inning for Cincinnati, no runs, a hit, no errors, nobody left on base. And at the end of 7, the Reds 3, the Mets nothing.
Do you know everything Frisch's is?
Apple pie has long been an American tradition. And at Frisch's, they serve you apple pie that's orchard fresh and baked with homemade flavor. So stop in at your nearby Frisch's and have a piece of delicious apple pie.
But that is all. No runs. 2 hits, 2 men left on as Cranepool lines hard to Griffey. And after 7.5 innings, it remains the Reds 3 and the Mets nothing.
Nancy Wilson encores for Stroh's.
Oh, but it's lovely the way you make me feel like I'm wanted. Thank you. Giving me the strength to find the special kind of peace of mind, making me feel like I'm wanted. Friendship is the sweet part of living. I know it when you're near me. This to another Stroh's.
Nancy Wilson for the Stroh Brewery Company, Detroit, Michigan. Family brewers for more than 200 years.
Before Ken Griffey leads off the home half of the 8th inning, we'll pause for station identification on the Cincinnati Reds Baseball Network.
It's JFPO, mornings on WRW Cincinnati. George Foster Poster Day is Sunday, August 1st at Riverfront Stadium. The Reds meet the Padres. Every fan through age 21 gets a free souvenir color poster of the Reds all-star left fielder.
If you're a big souvenir buff, then you want to be at Riverfront on Sunday, August 1st. That's George Foster Poster Day. The Reds meet the Padres in a 2:15 game, and every fan 21 and under will get a free 2-foot by 3-foot poster, full-color action poster of the popular Reds left fielder. Make plans now and get your tickets in advance. That's the Reds and the Padres on Sunday, August 1st. Poster Day featuring George Foster. Griffey has had one of our 8 hits, a single in the 4th inning. He scored a run, and he'll be facing a third Met pitcher of the night in right-hander Ken Sanders. A win and a loss, a microscopic 1.61 ERA, and making his 21st appearance. Right-hander sends in the pitch to Griffey, and Kenny takes it wide of the plate for a ball. Strike to him, 1-1. In that second game of the twin bill in Pittsburgh in the 4th inning, Pirates 2 and the Astros nothing. Griffey looks at ball 2 with a strike. Whereas Billingham and McInerney have been throwing, it is now Raleigh Eastwick loosening up. Here's a 2-1 pitch to Griffey, and that is swung on and grounded to the right side and by the diving Felix Millan. Kenny Griffey on with his second hit as he begins the 8th inning. Number 9 for the Reds collectively, and Joe Morgan will be looking for his third. Joe reached on a fielder's choice in the 1st inning, but since then has singled to pick up his 70th RBI and double in the 6th inning to lead it off. He scored in that frame and has stolen 3 bases tonight. A fine all-around game for Morgan. We've out-hit him 9-3 and outscored him 3-0. The right-hander Sanders comes set and delivers. Joe bluffs a bunt and takes a pitch high. Griffey throwing a throw from Sanders to first base. Griffey has himself stolen a base in the game. He has swiped a total of 23. Another throw that way. While Morgan's trio gives him 28 on the year. Infield for the Mets looking for the bouncing ball. Sanders a quick throw to first base. One and nothing to count on Morgan with Foster on deck. Here's a pitch. Swung on and grounded foul at first base as Joe goes down in a sitting position. Ball and a strike. Joe has jumped his batting average some 4 points from its .317 mark at the beginning of the game. And with the RBI tonight, he's only 4 away from league leader and teammate George Foster. Sanders, a slow worker, looking into Grody. 1-1 pitch. Low and inside, 2 balls and a strike. Now Doug Flynn has gone down to get loose. Throw to first again. We'll probably see Flynn go into play second base in the Met 9th inning. Morgan ahead on the count. Sanders works to first. Apodaca went an inning and a third, allowed the Reds a hit, struck out a batter, no runs scored against him. All three coming off starter John Matlack. There's a foul at the plate. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Morgan having a hard time down there right now. Swung at a ball and fell down and just bounced this one off of his leg. And he calls time with plate umpire Dick Stello, and now walking back over to the Reds dugout. Trainer Larry Starr is there in the event that Joe needs him, but apparently not. He's just over to rub up the bat handle with a pine tar rag, and now coming on back to home plate. Sanders, 2 balls, 2 strikes, nobody out. Griffey at first base, and 3-0 Reds in the 8th inning. Morgan takes it off the plate outside, ball 3, and a full count. The right-hander comes set. The pitch, swung on, fly ball, hit to left center field. Mangual, long run as well as Milner, and Milner makes a running catch in left center field. John Milner playing it in left center field to retire Morgan as Griffey comes quickly back into the first base bag. One away for George Foster. He struck out twice, and in the 6th inning bounced out to Steger at third. Sanders throwing to first. Now to Foster. The pitch, down and outside, ball 1. Thinking about the 9th inning, Freddie Norman has Mangual, Millan, and Milner. There goes a runner. Here's a ground ball to short. It's off Bud Harrelson. He's not going to get anybody. Griffey was breaking on the pitch. Foster hit a routine ground ball to shortstop, and Harrelson coughed it up. That's going to be the 3rd New York error. So Johnny Bench with 2 on and 1 away. 0 for 3 with a ground out, a strikeout, and a pop out. Mangual, Millan, and Milner are the 3 hitters standing between Norman and a shutout. But the Reds are trying to add some insurance runs in the 8th. Bench takes a pitch away. Ball 1. They give John right center. Swung on and fouled at home plate. It's a ball and 1 strike. Well, Griffey, the lead runner at second. Foster on at first. A hit and an error get him there, and sandwiched in between a fly ball off the bat of Joe Morgan. And Millan playing it with Griffey exactly as he has done with Morgan in the game, and that is at second base until the pitch goes to the plate. Bench a grounder foul. It bounces over to the New York dugout. Sanders with the advantage against the Cincinnati catcher at a ball and 2 strikes. In the 6th inning at Montreal, Atlanta with Dick Ruffin blanking the Expos 3-0. And Sanders taking a lot of time as he parades around the mound, rubbing up the new baseball. Gets a toe hold in that pitching rubber and looks down to Grody. He checks Griffey at second. He delivers to Bench. Swung on, and a base hit into left center field. Here comes Griffey, rounding third. The throw will go to third base. A run is home. It's 4-0. Johnny Bench with a single into left center field to knock in his 47th run. With Foster going to second and holding there. Here's Tony Perez. Tony is 0 for 2 with a walk. He reached for the base on balls in the 6th inning off Matlack. He fouls it off the end of the bat and over the screen, back of the plate. We're going to get further activity in the New York Met bullpen in the person of right-hander Nino Espinosa. Perez a foul strike, 0-2. Cincinnati now with a 10-hit game. Perez is looking for his first as the New York outfield plays him deep and bunches him in the alleys. They give him both foul lines, but trying to cut down on the extra base hit in the gaps. Ground ball, third baseman Steger on to second. Beyond on to Torrey, double play, and that's the inning. The Reds with a run on 2 hits, a Met error, and a man left on. We move to the 9th inning. Cincinnati 4, New York nothing.
There's a feeling around, it's America's sound. Pepsi people feeling free. Free to choose a new way, free to stand up and say, you be you and I'll be me.
Pepsi-Cola Bottling Company of Cincinnati is pleased to announce the Cincinnati Reds 1975 World Champions commemorative bottle free with the purchase of a 6-bottle carton of 32-ounce Pepsi-Cola. For a limited time, when you purchase a 6-bottle carton of 32-ounce Pepsi-Cola, you receive free a 16-ounce Cincinnati Reds 1975 World Champions commemorative bottle. 5-cent deposit required on each bottle.
Join the Pepsi people.
Get yours today at participating dealers.
We're in the top of the 9th inning. Freddie Norman, who has allowed the New York Mets only 3 hits and no runs through 8 innings of pitching and was able to weather the storm in the first real threat that the Mets have posed against him tonight. That came in the last inning when they had hits from Mike Vail and Roy Steger with 1 away. He got Harrelson on a pop, and then against pinch hitter Ed Kranepool, a line drive that Griffey caught in right field to retire the 8th for the Mets and kill off the threat. Top of the order for New York: Pepe Mangual, Felix Millan, and John Milner. This reminder, plan ahead. The Reds will be meeting the Dodgers in September here at Riverfront Stadium. 3 big games, the 14th, 15th, and 16th of September. Purchase your tickets in advance. Well, Norman completing his warm-ups. The throw goes down to Doug Flynn, who now has come on to take over at second base for Joe Morgan. And here's Mangual. Right-handed batting Met leadoff batter has bounced out twice and popped out to first base. High and inside, ball 1. That's low. 2 balls and no strikes. Norman had a 1-hitter through 7. That was a 4th inning triple by Milner. He has allowed only 3 hits total in the game. He has 3 balls and no strikes on Mangual. A rare occasion where he's gone a 3-ball count to a Met batter in the game, maybe 4 times total. And there is strike 1 call. Millan swinging the bat in the on-deck circle, and Raleigh Eastwick continues to stay ready in the Cincinnati bullpen. Hopefully he will not be needed. We'd like to see Norman get it in here, a complete gamer. Strike 2 call. Well, Freddie throwing back-to-back bullseyes after getting down in a hurry to Mangual. 3-0. It's now full. And the payoff pitch is on the way to the plate. Here's a base hit left field. Pepe Mangual with a single to left off Norman's 3-2 pitch as Pepe comes up with his first hit in a New York Met uniform. Mian is grounded to short, has bounced out to second, and has lofted a fly ball to Foster in left. 0 for 3. McEnany will join Eastwood. Norman pitches to Mian. Ball 1. Freddie getting a little bit upset with himself right now. He snatched that throw back from Johnny Bench out of the air. Rose even with a bag at third. Concepcion shading Mian a step or two toward the second base bag. Plate umpire Dick Stello inspects the baseball, throws that one out of play, and sends out a new one to Norman. Mangual leading at first. Here's a pitch. That's high. 2 balls and no strikes. The Reds with a 4-0 ninth inning lead. That single runs in innings 4, 5, 6, and 8. Strike on the outside corner, and Mian not exactly in agreement with that call. 2-1. Felix taking his time getting back in as John Milner waits in the on-deck circle. Foul ball will be out of play. Comes back off to our right. It's 2 balls and 2 strikes. If the shutout is in fact realized, it'll be the 10th thrown by Reds pitchers this season. He jammed him with a pitch, and he fouls it back onto the screen. Well, Felix Mian, always pesky at the plate, hanging tough with a holding 2-ball, 2-strike count. After Pepe Mangual began the 9th inning with a single to left field. Norman to the belt. He delivers. Here's a foul off and out of play back behind the Reds dugout. 38,598. You've seen a fine pitching performance by Fred Norman, but not over yet. Leading by 4 runs and a 2-2 count on the Mets second baseman. Runner leading at first base. Here's a fly ball center field. That should be out number 1, and it is. Here's the owner of one of the 4 New York hits, Milner, with a triple to right in the 4th inning. He had a low-line drive that Griffey tried to shoestring. Kenny had no chance at all to catch the ball. It, as things turned out, skipped beneath his glove, and Milner ended up at third. But Norman then got Torrey on a line out to third base to end the inning. Milner bends away from a high and tight pitch. Swung on and fouled between the legs of plate umpire Dick Stello. 1-1. On deck, Joe Torre. At first base, Pepe Mangual, 1 out. Norman taking quite a bit of time at this point in the game between pitches. He sends in the next one, and Milner swings and grounds it foul outside of the first base coaching box and bounding into the Cincinnati dugout. Oh, he has gained the advantage on Milner. A ball, 2 strikes. New York with a loss will drop 1 full game further back of the division-leading Philadelphia Phillies, who were victorious this afternoon. Philadelphia beat San Diego behind Jim Cott. Would put the Mets 15 games out. Strike 3 call. Boy, what a fine screwball right there. Ball broke out over the plate, and Milner, completely handcuffed, could do nothing but watch Dick Stello fire that right hand in the air. Freddie has his 4th strikeout and his 2nd at the expense of Milner, and now Joe Torre will try to keep the Mets alive in the 9th. Torrey is fly to right, line to third, and pop to second. Ball to him. Perez playing behind Mangual. They're not concerned about him right now, and that should do it. A high pop in shallow right center. Flynn back. He's waiting, and this one belongs to the Reds. In the ninth inning, the Mets no runs and a hit. Freddie Norman with a masterful 4-hit shutout. As the Reds reign supreme tonight 4-0 and gain a split in the 2-game series. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a moment.
Many American beers trace their roots back to Germany. More specifically, to a family that came from Germany in the 19th century and started their own brewery. Now, at first, they were very much a family affair. There was someone in the brewery every day seeing to it that the quality remained high. And that's how those traditions of care in brewing came to be. But today, you'll find most breweries are no longer owned by these original families. And the family tradition of care is fast disappearing. Well, let us tell you about one family that still works in their brewery every day. It's the Stroh family, and they take as much care in brewing Stroh's beer for the beer lovers of this generation as they did 200 years ago. Stroh's beer. There's still a family tradition behind it.
One beer lover to another Stroh.
The Stroh Brewing Company, Detroit, Michigan. Family brewers for more than 200 years.
Well, we saw an outstanding pitching performance by a left-hander from New York last night, Jerry Kuzman, as he beat the Reds 2-1. And tonight, we saw a man in the red and white double knit of the Cincinnati Reds go Kuzman one better. Freddie Norman with his 3rd shutout of the year, picking up his 8th victory as he blanked the New York Mets on 4 hits in a 4-0 final. The Reds got single runs off John Matlack in the 4th, 5th, and 6th innings before manager Joe Frazier saw fit to take Matlack out in favor of Bob Apodaca. The Reds added their final run, an unearned run in the 8th inning, off the 3rd New York pitcher of the evening, right-hander Ken Sanders. 4 runs, 10 hits, no errors with 5 left on, the winning Cincinnati numbers, while the Mets had no runs on 4 hits, 3 errors, and 4 left on. Norman wins his 8th game of the year, picks up his 3rd shutout, and the 10th collectively for Cincinnati pitching in 76. While Matlack suffered the loss, his record goes to a still fine 10 wins and 4 defeats. The Reds split the 2-game series and are now 58-35 on the year. An off day coming up tomorrow, and then on to Atlanta to take on the Braves in the beginning of a 4-game series on Friday night. We'll tell you about the starting pitchers in that one when we continue in just a moment.
His children probably go to school with your children. His wife is from that town just down the road. He probably has a home not far from your house. And like yours, sometimes it's life's heavy load. But he's a man who can smile, 'cause he does the best he can. He's a man you ought to know. He's your marathon man. Your marathon man makes his living doing the best he can.
Friday night we'll be in Atlanta Stadium for the first of 4 against Dave Bristol's Western Division Braves, and Santo Alcala will get a crack at becoming the winningest pitcher on the Cincinnati staff. He will be shooting for his 9th win of the year against veteran knuckleballer and right-hander for the Braves, Phil Niekro, who has won 10 and lost 5. That'll be a single game on Friday night, a twin bill on Saturday night, and a Sunday night game to wrap up the 4-game series before the Reds return home to take on the San Francisco Giants in the first game of a week-long road homestand, that will get underway here on Monday evening. Tomorrow night we'll be on the air with the pregame shows Friday night on most of these same stations beginning at 7:05 Cincinnati time. This broadcast is authorized under broadcasting rights granted by Cincinnati Reds Incorporated solely for the entertainment of our listening audience. Any publication, rebroadcast, or other use of the descriptions and accounts of this game without the express written consent of Cincinnati Reds Incorporated is prohibited. And now on most of these same stations, stay tuned for Joe Nuxall with the Star of the Game show. And again, the final score, the Reds 4, the New York Mets nothing.
You've just heard another Cincinnati Reds on Radio presentation with Marty Brenneman and Joe Nuxall. Reds baseball has been brought to you by the Stroh Brewery Company, family brewers for more than 200 years. And by Marathon Oil Company, people who make their living doing the best they can. By the Pepsi-Cola Bottling Company of Cincinnati, bottlers of Pepsi-Cola, Dr. Pepper, and Schweppes products. By Frisch's. At breakfast time, lunchtime, or any time you're hungry, there's always a Frisch's nearby. By the First National Bank of Cincinnati, a good place to put your money and your confidence. And by Riverside Ford in Newport, a block and a bridge from downtown Cincinnati. Follow the world champion Cincinnati Reds and tune in next time for the Reds on Radio on this, the Cincinnati Reds Baseball Network.
Win a night out with the Reds from Cincinnati Cooperative Milk Sales. Send your name and address to Milk is Much More Contest, 1889 Central Parkway, Cincinnati, Ohio. WLW Cincinnati.
Now, star of the game with Joe Nuxall. Brought to you by Gabriel Shock Absorbers. No matter what you drive, no matter how you drive, there's a Gabriel Shock for you. Gabriel, king of the road.
We're back in the dugout here at Riverfront Stadium where the Reds have beaten the New York Mets tonight behind Freddie Norman by a score of 4-0. Fred getting his 4th shutout of the year, his 8th win, his 5th complete game, and what a job he did, allowing the Mets just 4 hits, striking out 4, did not walk a batter. And our star of the game, Freddie Norman. We'll be back with Freddie after this word.
Hello, this is Roger Miller with a money-saving solution to what could be a serious problem. Chances are pretty darn good that the shocks on your car are pretty darn bad. You see, shocks wear so slowly you're not usually aware of the problem until you have to make that sudden turn, quick stop, or jarring ride over a rough stretch of road. So here's the money-saving solution. The heavy-duty shock sale at your Gabriel Shock Absorber dealer. Now's the time to save on Gabriel's new low-priced heavy-duty shock, the Roadstar. Or for more control when the going gets rough, save on Red Riders, Gabriel's premium heavy-duty shock. Either one of them will give you a real bonus in driving safety and comfort. So don't wait. Check out the heavy-duty shock sale now at your participating Gabriel dealer. King of the road.
Get your Gabriel shocks at C&C Auto Parts, 129 North Main Street, Miamisburg, Ohio, or Camco Auto Parts, Alexandria, Kentucky.
Freddie Norman, our star of the game tonight. And Freddie, as we said, getting his 8th win of the year, his 4th shutout, and, we keep telling you this, Fred, and we're very happy to tell you, a fine and well-pitched ball game.
Well, Joe, thank you. Thanks for having me on the show, too. I don't know. I guess I had a little more incentive tonight. I was going for my number 30th career win here at Riverfront. I got it, and at least I got 30 wins before Randy Jones did. It only took me 4 years.
Freddie, tonight, a lot of ground balls. Not really customary to your pitching, is it?
Well, no, not really. I get a lot of fly balls, Joe, because of the screwball, and I think they try to reach out and get it. But tonight I had a good fastball, and I was throwing it pretty much down around the knee area and away. And I think they were just kind of hitting it right in the ground. And my sliders on occasion were down, and that makes them hit them right in the ground. I'd like to have that pretty consistent all the time, but sometimes you can't, and hopefully when you don't have it, you get it in a better spot.
Freddie, did you feel like you had this kind of game in you tonight warming up?
I sure did, Joe. As soon as I warmed up, it's this type of night. It's very humid out, and when I feel like this, when it's humid, your fingers just feel good. The ball feels good to you, the whole shot. And I had a little problem with my arm last week, and it really felt good. And of course, tonight was the type of night that you'd like to be able to throw in, and just pretty much stayed loose all through throughout the game. So I had no problems physically.
Any pitches consistently good for you tonight?
Probably, I would have to say the fastball. I really would. I had thrown some good sliders, but I would think the fastball. I didn't throw too many curveballs. The curveballs I did throw were very effective, so kept them honest anyway if I didn't have a real good screwball, which I didn't. But I thought my fastball was probably my best pitch tonight.
Freddie, I checked with Shep as he walked through the clubhouse to find out how many pitches you made. 111 pitches, which is really a good ball game.
Yeah, it's not really all that bad, 111. Normally when I'm pitching pretty decent consistently, I usually throw about 105 to 120. really, and that's not really that much for me. Hopefully I still have a lot of baseball throws left in me, but it doesn't really bother me that much when if I stay in that area.
Fred, no walks again tonight, and your control really the last, I think, well, that's your fifth victory in your last 6 outings, if I'm correct, maybe 4th and 5, something, but yet your control has just been, just magnificent.
Well, Joe, it's, I know it, and so does everybody that tells me that's the key to my success. I've got to throw strikes, and I proved it, of course, again tonight. If I throw strikes, I'm going to get them out. If I challenge, I'm able to challenge them because I have all these pitches. All I have to do is just throw them over the plate, and if it just sink into this little tiny head of mine, I'll be all right.
Isn't that funny how difficult it is sometimes?
Sure is. It's amazing.
Freddie Norman, our star of the game tonight. We'll be back with more after this word. This is the old left-hander for Security Moving and Storage. You may know that the first World Series was played back in 1903. But do you know who the contending teams were? Well, I'll give you a hint. They were the same teams the Cincinnati Reds had to beat to win last year's series. That's right. The first World Series was played between the Red Sox and the Pirates, and the Red Sox won it. Well, a lot of things have changed since 1903. The Reds are now World's champions. 1903 was also the year Security Moving and Storage Company started in business. Since then, they have moved a lot of Reds fans. People moving up. People who wanted a smooth, dependable move. It's a thought to keep in mind. The next time you're rounding third and heading for a new home, call the Reds fans at Security Moving and Storage. Let Don Bullock or Ken Hamlin arrange a free estimate. Security Moving and Storage Company, agent for Allied Van Lines, Cincinnati's major league mover since 1903. Freddie Norman, our star of the game tonight, getting his 8th win of the year. And Fred, as we look at the scorebook, really not a real difficult inning for you. Maybe the one inning, you would say, would be the 8th inning when Bales singled, and then after the strikeout of Grody, Steger singled, and at that particular time, a mild threat by the Mets.
Yeah, I think I thought about it a little bit. I says, well, here I am. I think I was 3 runs up at the time, wasn't I? And I think we got our 4th run in the bottom of the 8th, didn't we? I believe. Okay, so I knew I was 3 runs up. Now I got a little excited, I think, and kind of lost my memory a little bit, of saying, hey, wait a second, now you're going just the opposite way of the way you used to do. You used to get behind and all this stuff. Let's, revert back and start off by throwing a strike. You're up 3-0. You're not behind 3-0. So I just came right back and challenged again, and got out of it, hopefully, yeah.
The ball that, the one ball in the inning that had a mild scare to it was the one that Cranepool hit.
Yeah, he hit it real good. It was a slider. Got behind on him 2-0. I thought the second pitch I threw to him was a slider, just missed. And so I said, well, I'm going to have to throw this for a strike. Whatever I throw, a slider, curve, screwball, fastball, whatever it's going to be, it's got to be a strike. And I kind of just laid the slider right in there, and he hit it pretty good, but it was in the alley. And, of course, Griffey was playing him off the line, so he was able to get to it.
Fred, in pitching the right-handed batters, the Mets, most of them know you. Do you ever get concerned? Do you ever second-guess yourself on a pitch?
I don't think so, Joe. The reason I don't, because I try to keep them honest. I try to come inside more now because I feel I can almost see them. As soon as they stand up to the plate, I can see them leaning. It's unbelievable how you do that. And like maybe on a Don Guller, these guys, no, they're not leaning at all. See, they're expecting, basic fastball pitcher. They're looking on me to be more outside consistently, with the fastball and the screwball. So I think what's kept them honest with me is the fact that I'll throw that slider in on them. They know it now, so they'll kind of stand straight up a little more, and this is what I want. I try to establish that.
Freddie, is it kind of amazing to you in the years you've played baseball that one pitch can really make a tremendous difference in an individual?
I really do, Joe. As you know, I used to be a fastball pitcher. I had a fastball, curveball, and straight change. All 3 pitches were good. And again, I come up with a sore arm, so now I've got to get something. I don't have a good fastball, and the curveball was very adequate. When you have a sore arm, you don't have much of anything, really. And I fought that off for a year, and I came back pretty strong with it. I started throwing pretty good again, but I was a better pitcher and smarter pitcher. And so what happens is later on, I didn't come up with a slider until a few years ago. This, of course, the arm bit was in '68, so it's been a while. And all of a sudden, now I come up with a slider, and that's just, it's been the whole effect of my, I think, consistency now. It's been the slider.
But But in coming up with a slider, Fred, would you say that it really hadn't, well, let's say you had not very good consistency with it until maybe the end of last year and this year?
Probably so, because I think I started throwing that in middle of 72, like in July. And that pitch to me is just like the screwball. It takes a lot of work and effort to really work on it. And so I think I'm just starting to really come around with it.
When you think about the slider, and starting off, was it a problem of breaking too big or not enough?
At first it was breaking too big because I felt that you had to really slurve it, in other words. And Roger Craig, of course, now with the Padres, when I was there, had taught me the slider. What it's called basically really is it's a cut fastball. And what you do is you're concentrating as you're coming through fastball until you get right out where your release point is, and then you pull it down with that in a middle finger, and this is what causes that little break about 4 to 6 inches, and that's all you need. And it just looks like a fastball, and then right at that last moment there, it breaks into the guy and it'll jam him very easily. And this is what it's really is. If it breaks too much, it's almost like a curveball. It's really not that effective.
How about the speed of it?
The speed of it, I throw sometimes harder than my fastball on occasions. But normally it's basically about like a fastball, really, with a short cut on it.
All right, one more further thing, and got to talk about it. I don't even have to ask you. Go ahead and answer the question without me answering.
Oh, man, I had a shot, did I? No. It was, I'll tell you what, I'm glad Matlack still went to the game because I'd have been in the right side. As you know, I'm sure he wished there were 9 Fred Normans in the lineup, believe it. But, well, I was able to turn around, and I just hit the ball to left field. It was just right there, and just got the bat on the ball.
All right, Fred, really, though, and talking about the bat, in the 5th inning when we got our second run, you did put on a good bunt.
Well, the ball was right back at the pitcher, but our guys were running, so it was okay there. The first pitch was, I think it was a curveball. I don't think it was a slider. It was a curveball. It was down, and I just missed it. I bunted it, and it just went foul. Of course, on that left field side there, it kind of tends to roll off, so you got to, put it out just a little more towards the pitcher's mound. And but the second pitch, of course, was a fastball right there, and I just tried to bunt it fair, and because our guys were running, so I got them across it.
Yeah, and the first time up, you almost had a base hit. I don't know what kind of spin you had on that ball, but it was 3 feet fair, and then finally trickled foul.
Yeah, that's that old swing and bunt, man. I almost had it. I know as I walked back, I had to stop, take a little breather. I was kind of really trotting out there.
Well, Freddie, we certainly congratulate you on your 8th win of the year, your 4th shutout, and a very well-pitched baseball game.
Okay, Nux, thanks.
All right. Freddie Norman, our star of the game tonight. Freddie with his 8th victory of the year, his 5th complete game, and his 4th shutout as the Reds beat the Mets 4-0. That's it from here in the dugout. Now on most of these same stations, stay tuned for Marty Brenneman with scores and comments. Tomorrow an off day for the Reds, and we'll move on to Atlanta and open a 4-game series with the Atlanta Braves at Atlanta Stadium. Until then, this is the old left-hander rounding third and heading for home. Good night, everyone.
You've just heard Star of the Game with Joe Nuxall, brought to you by Admiral, Roper, and Speed Queen, leaders in home appliances and electronics.
This is your roving real estate reporter with Dennis Ashcraft of the Northern Kentucky office of West Shell Realtors. But, Dennis, it's no longer one West Shell office in Northern Kentucky, is it?
No. By September, we'll have 3.
And West Shell has only been on the Kentucky side about a year.
That's right. A year ago in March, we opened our first office in Erlanger. And our business has grown so fast that we have to expand to meet the needs of our clients. So we've now opened our Highland office in Campbell County, and in September, we'll open our Florence office in Boone County, close to the Florence Mall. I'm going to be the manager there, and I should feel right at home since I've lived within a mile of that office for many years.
Well, it's the old West Shell story. You live where you work, and you work where you live.
That's why we always know the area. And because we're expanding, we're looking for additional experienced salespeople. So anyone listening who's interested, please give us a call.
2 offices, soon to be 3, in Northern Kentucky.
Time now for Scores and Comments with Marty Brenneman. Brought to you in part by Quality Dodge East, straight up Beachmont, 2 miles east of I-275, Cincinnati.
Hello again, everybody. Back at Riverfront, where Freddie Norman defeats the New York Mets 4-0 tonight. A 4-hit shutout for the Cincinnati left-hander, who picks up his 8th victory of the year and allows the Reds to gain a split in this 2-game series at Riverfront Stadium. Checking out the American League, a final score in the first of that twin bill at Chicago. Rookie Chris Knapp doled out only 4 Tiger base hits as the Cubs defeated Detroit 4-1. 4 runs, 11 hits, an error for Chicago. 1 run, 4 hits, and 1 error for the Tigers. Knapp evens out his record at 1 win and 1 loss, and the defeat pinned on Tigers starter Vern Rule. He's won 5 and lost 7. In the second game, at the end of 5 1/2, the White Sox are trying to pick a pair. It's 3-0 as the Sox came up with 3 runs in the 4th inning off Tigers starter Dave LeMagic. Bart Johnson trying to square his record at 9-9 for Chicago. The rest are partial scores through 5 1/2 innings of play in Arlington, Texas. The Orioles and the Rangers are tied at 2 runs apiece. Reggie Jackson continues to play long ball for Baltimore. He had his 14th in the first inning with 1 on. That's Dave Pagan for the Orioles and Bert Blyleven pitching for the Texas Rangers. They're in the 9th inning at Cleveland with the Indians holding a 6-2 lead over California. And Nolan Ryan looks like he's going to get nailed with his 12th loss of the year, and Rick Waits is out to even his record out at 4 wins and 4 defeats. They're in the 9th inning at Yankee Stadium, New York, making mincemeat out of the Oakland A's, 10-1 that score. Thurman Munson is homered for the 9th time this season, a 3-run blast in the 5th inning, and Catfish Hunter is 3 outs away from winning his 12th game of the season. Kansas City batting in the bottom of the 7th inning and trailing the Milwaukee Brewers and Bill Travers 5-0. Travers after his 11th victory. Fitzmaurice started for Kansas City. Rounding out the American League schedule, Boston down to Minnesota 5-1 through 5 complete. Dave Golt 7-8 for the Twins, and Rick Wise 7-7 for the Boston Red Sox. Once again, the one final American League score in the first game of the Chicago twin bill. The White Sox behind rookie Chris Knapp defeats the Detroit Tigers 4-1. We'll be back to take a look at the National League in just a moment.
If you're looking for a great buy on a little Japanese car, come to the Colt Carnival. Come see the Dodge Colt Carousel with road wheels, tinted glass, reclining bucket seats, adjustable steering column, and AM/FM radio all standard. Terrific gas mileage, 37 miles per gallon on the highway, 24 in the city in EPA estimates. That's with 4-cylinder engine and 5-speed transmission. Your actual mileage may vary. See your Dodge dealer for a great buy during the Colt Carnival.
2 reclining bucket seats and carpeting for both your feet, and windows made of tinted glass that keep for locking up your gas. Outside air can flow right through, and Francis brakes are standard too.
How did Dodge Colt put so much in such a little car?
Standard power brakes are new, metallic seats are new here too. There's gold, maroon, and even blue, perhaps a 5-speed stick for you.
How did Dodge Colt put so much in such a little car?
See your nearby Dodge dealer for his low price during the Colt Carnival.
See Loveland Dodge in Loveland.
During the commercial break, the 2 finals coming in from the American League. Cleveland defeating California 6-2, 6-9-1 for the Indians, 2-7-2 for the Angels. Waits wins at 4-4. Ryan loses at 7-12. And the Yankees besting Oakland 10-1 on a 15-hit New York attack, while Oakland had 9 off of Catfish Hunter, who won his 12th game, and Mike Norris suffered the loss. He's 3-3. That game played before 26,451 at Yankee Stadium. Now to the National League. The Dodgers scored a run in the 10th inning this afternoon to defeat the St. Louis Cardinals on the coast 7-6. 7-13-1 for L.A., 6-7-1 for the Cardinals. Charlie Huff won it in relief, 8-4. Al Raboski lost it in relief, 5-6. 3 Dodger home runs highlighted the victory. Davey Lopes, who hit his first of the year last night off Lynn McLaughlin, had his second of the season today, leading off the bottom of the first inning. Reggie Smith had 2 Dodger home runs, his 12th in the 3rd with none on, and his 13th in the 5th also with the bases empty. Philadelphia, with Jim Cott winning his 10th game, knocked off San Diego 5-1. 5 runs, 11 hits, an error for the Phillies, a run, 7 hits, and no errors for the Padres. Cott is 10-4. He had relief help from Gene Garber, who picked up his 8th save, and Dave Frysleben lost his 5th consecutive game. His record is now 6-7. That game played in the quick time of 1 hour and 58 minutes. 1 home run. Tommy Hutton had his first in the 3rd with 2 mates aboard for Philadelphia. The San Francisco Giants saw Joe Wallace homer off John Montefusco in the top of the 9th inning at Candlestick Park for the first run of the game, and the Giants turned right around and scored 2 in the bottom of the 9th to give Montefusco his 9th win of the year. 2 runs, 7 hits, no errors for the Giants, a run on only 3 hits, and no errors for Chicago. Montefusco, 9 wins and 8 losses, and Suter lost it in relief for the Cubs. His record goes to 1-2. Now tonight in the first game of the Three River Stadium doubleheader at Pittsburgh, the Pirates behind Jerry Royce defeated Houston and Larry Dierker 5-1. 5 runs, 9 hits, no errors for the Pirates. A run, 9 hits, and 1 error for Houston. Royce thus becomes a 10-game winner. He's been beaten 5 times. Dierker's record even at 9-9. Bill Robinson had his 18th homer in the 4th inning with 1 on for Pittsburgh. In the second game, through 6 complete, the Pirates behind Larry Demery are shutting out Houston and Joaquin Andahar 3-0. While in the 9th inning at Montreal, the Expos hold a 4-3 lead over the Atlanta Braves as Montreal tries to take its second straight from Dave Bristol's club. Don Stanhouse stands to win his 7th game, and Dick Ruthven, the starting pitcher for the Atlanta Braves. Again, the National League Finals, Dodgers in 10 defeat St. Louis 7-6. Philadelphia, as Cott wins his 10th, bests San Diego 5-1. San Francisco 2-1 over the Cubs, and Pittsburgh, with Jerry Royce becoming a 10-game winner, knocks off Houston in the first game 5-1. We'll be back to recap the Reds' win over the New York Mets tonight. That coming up in just a moment.
Bought me one of them foreign cars, and my man Roger says, I'm really in trouble if the transmission ever goes. He said, who are you ever going to find to fix that car? And I said, Amco fixes foreign cars. And you know what he said? Nothing.
You're going to be surprised, but don't be surprised by the nice little extras at Amco. When some transmission places see a foreign car pull up, they pull down the shades, but not Amco. The way they see it, every car has a transmission, and that's good enough. At Amco, no car is foreign to them.
You're going to be surprised, but don't be surprised by the nice little extras at Amco. They service 4 million transmissions, and they do things right. And they do it on most foreign cars, too. Amco, AAMCO.
Amco transmission centers are located at 7353 Coleraine and at 3810 Glenway.
Well, left-hander Freddie Norman was at his absolute best at Riverfront Stadium tonight as he fired off a 4-hit shutout at the New York Mets, the Reds winning at 4-0. Norman, the 3rd shutout that he can call solely his own this season. He also collaborated in one along with left-hander Will McInerney. It was Norman against Matlack, and you had to figure with both pitchers having their good stuff, it was going to be a pitcher's duel, and it was exactly that for 3 innings before the Reds broke the scoreless deadlock by scoring the first of their 4 runs in the 4th inning. Ken Griffey led off with a single to center field, stole second, and came home on Joe Morgan's single to right as Joe picked up his 70th RBI and the Reds led it 1-0. It was a 2-0 game in the 5th inning when Concepcion beat out a slow roller to third. Geronimo then followed with a base hit to left, and after Norman laid down the sacrifice, Rose hit a line drive out to Mike Vail in right field with Concepcion scoring to make it 2-0 Cincinnati. In the 6th inning, there was a double to begin it by Morgan, who then stole third and came home on a John Matlack wild pitch. When Matlack later on in the inning issued another wild pitch, he was lifted in favor of Bob Apodaca. The Reds rounded out the scoring off right-hander Ken Sanders in the 8th on a Griffey single, a one-out error off the bat of George Foster, an error on a boot by shortstop Bud Harrelson, and a run-scoring single to left center field by Johnny Bench as he picked up his 47th run batted in, and the Reds led it 4-0. Norman had a 1-hit shutout going to the 8th inning. That 1 hit was a 4th inning triple by John Milner. And in the 8th inning, it was a single by Vail, a 1-out single by Steger. But then the left-hander got tough as he retired Harrelson on a pop to Concepcion and got pinch hitter Ed Kranepool on a line drive to Ken Griffey in right field. In the 9th inning, there was a leadoff single by Pepe Mangual, but Mian fly to center. Milner looked at a 3rd strike, and the game ended when Joe Torre popped out to Doug Flynn at second base. The totals in the game, 4 runs, 10 hits, no errors, and 5 left for Cincinnati. The Mets had no runs on 4 hits. They committed 3 errors afield and left 4 men on. Norman wins his 8th game in 10 decisions, and Matlack started and lost it for the Mets. His record goes to 10-4, and he is now career against the Reds, 3 wins and 9 losses. The Reds maintain their 6-game edge over the L.A. Dodgers by virtue of the victory, and once again go 23 over 500 with a record of 58 wins and 35 losses. An off date tomorrow, and then we'll be in Atlanta Stadium on Friday night for the first of that 4-game weekend series. It'll be Santo Alcala, an 8-game winner for the Reds, and for the Atlanta Braves, it'll be knuckleballer and 10-game winner Phil Niekro. Once again, the final score tonight in a game that took 2 hours and 16 minutes to play before a crowd of 38,598. The Reds with Norman 4, the New York Mets nothing. Until Friday night, for Joe Nuxall, this is Marty Brenneman saying so long, everybody.
This has been Scores and Comments with Marty Brenneman. Brought to you by AMCO Transmissions, #1 in Reds Country.
Hey, everybody do the Cincinnati Shuffle, 'cause we'll be back again on Reds Radio. We hope to see you then. Saying goodbye to Marty and Joe and the Cincinnati Reds on your radio. Do shuffle, Cincinnati Shuffle. Do shuffle, Cincinnati Shuffle. Do shuffle, Cincinnati Shuffle. Do shuffle, Cincinnati Shuffle. Saying goodbye to Marty and Joe and the Cincinnati Reds on your radio. Keep on shuffling to Reds Radio.
In any sport, the winning team is the team with a winning combination, a combination of dedication and talent, like our Reds. In sports reporting, the winning team is the Enquirer Sports Section, selected the best 2 years running by the Ohio Associated Press Writers Association. Get the facts from the best in the business every morning in the Enquirer Sports. Subscribe now. Call 651-4500. Follow your sports team with the winning team in sports in the Enquirer Sports Section.
You've just heard another radio presentation of the world champion Cincinnati Reds. Be sure to join us again for both the game broadcast and our special pre- and post-game programs, all of which are produced solely by the broadcast department of the Cincinnati Reds Incorporated. Jim Winters, director.
The Reds begin a 3-game set against A. Bristol San Francisco Giants, and while Cincinnati will be trying to stretch the winning streak to 5 straight as right-hander Paul Moscow goes to the mound against the left-hander Bob Nepper. We'll be back to take a look at the starting lineups in just a moment. If you're ready now, the starting lineups tonight for the San Francisco Giants, leading off and playing center field, will be Billy North. Batting second, Darrell Evans at third base. Jack Clark will hit third. He'll play right field. Batting fourth at first base, Willie McCovey. Terry Whitfield will play left field and bat fifth. Hitting number 6 at second base, Rennie Stennett. Milt May will catch and bat seventh. Hitting eighth at shortstop, Johnny LeMaster, and batting ninth and pitching, left-hander Bob Nepper. Again for the Giants is North in center field, Evans at third base, Clark in right field. McCovey at first, Whitfield in left field, Stennett at second base. With May catching, LeMaster at short, and Nepper pitching. For the Cincinnati Reds, Dave Collins to lead it off and play center field. Batting second, making his first start of the year, in right field, Hector Cruz. Dave Concepcion at shortstop, batting third. Left fielder George Foster will hit fourth. Batting fifth and catching, Johnny Bench. Hitting number 6 at third base, Ray Knight. Danny Dreesen will bat seventh. He'll play first base. At second base, the number 8 batter, Junior Kennedy. And batting ninth and pitching, right-hander Paul Moscow. Once more for the Reds, it's Collins in center field, Cruz in right field, Concepcion at shortstop. Foster in left field, Bench catching, Knight at third. In the bottom third again, we'll have Dreesen at first, Kennedy at second, and Moscow pitching. Joe, Paul Moscow's first appearance of the year, and, well, in view of the fact that Frank Pastore was supposed to start, somewhat unexpected.
Well, Marty, of course, Frank is having some stiffness in his left knee. That's the reason for him not starting, but certainly this is a good chance for Paul because he should be buoyed by the great pitching we've had to this point. And Charlie Lebrand yesterday, of course, Mike Lacoste, Bill Bonham, and Frank Pastore in the opener. And hopefully Paul can, well, crank up a gem for us here tonight. I think we can go back to last year. At one time last year, Paul was 4 wins, no losses, and we can always remember the 2 times he came in for Tom Seaver when Tom had some problems and just did a super job. So hopefully Paul can get himself off on the right track and add to this fine pitching we've received to this point.
Well, the Reds, of course, beat the Atlanta Braves 4 straight. They are the only undefeated team in the National League to date. The Giants picked up their first win of the year to avoid a 4-game series sweep in San Diego yesterday afternoon. Switch hitting Billy North to lead it off for the Giants. The first pitch is in at the knees for a called strike, and this game is underway. North, Evans, and Clark in the first inning for Dave Bristol's Giants. Billy North on the year 5 for 15. He's driven in 2 runs. The 1-strike pitch to him is taken, and that's a breaking ball for strike 2 call. So Paul Mosco throwing bullseyes on the first 2 deliveries to center fielder Bill North. Ray Knight playing inside the front white line at third base, now backing a step or 2 as the count goes to 2 strikes on the batter. Johnny Bench hangs aside, and Mosco brings it on up to the plate, and that one is taken low and inside for a ball. The Reds' inner defense has Dreesen, Kennedy, Knight, and Concepcion at first, second, third, and short. Foster in left, Collins in center, Cruz in right. The 1-2 pitch to Billy North swung on and shot foul down the left field line and not a play. Holding count on North, a ball and 2 strikes. This, the lid lifter of a 3-game series, 8:05 start tomorrow night, and then a 12:30 business day special to wrap up the homestand on Wednesday afternoon. Mosco on the pitching rubber as North levels a bat. Here comes a pitch, and Billy North check swings a foul of the screen. The count holding at a ball, 2 strikes. Jimmy Davenport, the third base coach for the Giants, and our guest on Touching Bases tonight, and a newcomer on the Giants coaching staff. At first, Jim Lefevre. Mosco with a motion the pitch, and Billy North takes it just off the plate to even the count at 2 balls and 2 strikes. That loss yesterday by San Diego to the San Francisco club gives the Reds a 1-game lead in the Western Division. Billy North now takes it in on him, and Mosco, who at one point was out in front 2 strikes, has now run the count full at 3-2. Waiting to bat Darrell Evans, the payoff pitch, and North is on with a walk. Mosco missed the inside corner, and the leadoff batter in the game is on through a base on balls, and that brings up third baseman Darrell Evans. This copyrighted broadcast is authorized under broadcasting rights granted by Cincinnati Reds Incorporated solely for the entertainment of our listening audience. Any publication, rebroadcast, or other use of the descriptions and accounts of this game without the express written consent of Cincinnati Reds Incorporated is prohibited. The announcers on this broadcast are employed by the Cincinnati Reds Incorporated. Billy North takes his lead at first, always a threat to steal. Mosco throws low. Dreesen comes up with it as Billy North steps back into the bag. Evans 3 for 17 on the season, left-handed batter with power. He checks his swing, and that pitch cost him a strike. It got the inside edge. Evans had the dubious distinction of tying a National League record 3 nights ago in San Diego, committing 3 errors in 1 inning that paved the way for a Padre win. He takes it on the outside edge, and Mosco gets his first 2 over to Evans, as he did against the leadoff batter, Billy North. 0-2. Dutch Renner at the plate umpire. At first, John Kibler. At second, Bruce Frankie Fremming. And at third, Terry Tata. Defense overshifts toward the right side. And the pitch on the way to Evans. It misses in the dirt. Bench comes up with it. Nothing going on with Billy North, who so far this season has attempted 3 steals and has been successful 1 time. Mosco straightens up on the mound and delivers the pitch. Swung on, high fly ball hit back into deep right center field. Collins to the warning track, and that ball is out of here for a home run. Darrell Evans hitting a 1-2 pitch to deep right center. And the San Francisco Giants jump quickly out in front in this game by a score of 2-0.
Marty, was a fastball, and looked like on the inside half a plate, about belt high. And now when the ball left the bat, it didn't look like it was going that far, but just kept going. And, well, got to play catch-up.
2-0 Giants, a walk and a home run, and the batter now is right fielder Jack Clark. Pitch to Clark, swung on and fouled off the mid of Johnny Bench. Well, Darrell Evans is down through the years, had good success in hitting against Cincinnati pitching. In fact, John McNamara was commenting the other day that Evans has seemed to hit every club that Mac has been with. Ball is fouled back to the screen. It's 2 strikes. A walk to North, a home run by Evans, his first of the year and his first RBIs. Clark on the season is 0 for 7. He has been bothered by a hyperextended thumb that really caused him problems last year. He hits one into center field. Going back on the ball is Dave Collins. He's got plenty of room to make the play, and he does for out number 1. 1 out with 2 runs in, and the batter will be first baseman Willie McCovey. Big Stretch has been getting a lot of playing time because they're regular at that position. Mike Ivey suffered an ankle injury in the opening game of the year at San Diego. Going into the bag at first base, he hit the side of the bag and suffered an ankle injury that has kept him pretty much sidelined, so McCovey's been the man at the first base position. Willie, 2 for 12, has knocked in 2 runs. Pitch taken high and away, a fastball. One-0 pitch. Curveball misses. 2 balls and no strikes. Outfield deep and toward right. Concepcion shading the left-handed batter toward the middle as McCovey swings and fouls it back of third base, and that ball well back into the seats. Willie McCovey against Paul Mosco, 2 balls and a strike. Giants have scored twice. A 2-run home run by Darrell Evans following a game-opening walk to Bill North. And Willie McCovey at the plate, 42 years old, and still going strong. The pitch misses outside, ball 3. McCovey, born on January the 10th, 1938 in Mobile, Alabama, now makes his home in Woodside, California, and he's been Mr. Giant. He walks, and Mosco having problems in the first inning. Second walk that Paul has allowed, and the batter will be left fielder Terry Whitfield. Whitfield 1 for 7. Dave Bristol has been platooning at that position so far in this very young season, either Whitfield or Herndon, depending upon a right-hander or a left-hander pitching. Whitfield takes a strike. Threeson playing behind McCovey, who takes his lead at first base. Whitfield, a former product of the Yankee organization. He swings and he misses at a pitch up, strike 2. Now, we'll be seeing the Giants on the first road trip that we take this season. We'll be on the road beginning Thursday night to help the Atlanta Braves celebrate their home opener. 4-game series there, then 3 in Houston, and then 3 in San Francisco. Whitfield takes it way outside, and the count goes to a ball and 2 strikes. Sorry, looking down to Coach Jim Davenport at third base, now settles back in as Mosco checks McCovey at first base and delivers, and that's strike 3 call on the inside corner. Whitfield actually was bailing a bit on the pitch, and he says something to Dutch Rennert as he runs back toward the Giant dugout. First strikeout for Paul, and with 2 away, the batter will be second baseman Rennie Stennett. Stennett, one of 3 newcomers to the San Francisco ball club. The Giants signed over the winter as free agent players. Rennie Stennett, Milt May, who moves to the on-deck circle, and also an outfielder, Jim Wolford. Stennett takes one that bounces up there and off the chest protector of Johnny Bench, and John flags it down along the first baseline. Stennett is 4 for 14. He had 2 hits yesterday in the series wind up at San Diego, and they're hoping this man can regain the offensive magic, well, the all-around play that he exhibited a few years back with the Pittsburgh Pirates before suffering that ankle break. He lines one down the right field line. That's curving out of play. Foul ball. Two out, runner at first. The Giants have scored twice here in the first inning. Well, that home run by Evans at first given up by Reds pitching in this game number 5. 1-1 pitch. Swung on and hit into center field. Collins racing for the right side, and he makes the catch. Stennett hit it on the button, but Dave Collins moving quickly to his right toward the alley in left center made the catch. And for the Giants in the first inning, 2 runs on 1 hit, no errors and 1 left. And after a half inning of baseball, the Giants 2 and the Reds are coming up. The action continues tomorrow night and Wednesday afternoon here at Riverfront Stadium as the Reds and the Giants wind up the season-opening homestand. Game time tomorrow night, 8:05. Tom Seaver makes his first start of the year against right-hander Ed Whitson. Then on Wednesday, a 12:30 Business Day special, and that's a Senior Citizen Day, too. Bargain prices for persons 65 and older. How about getting together with family or friends for a trip to the ball game? Plenty of seats available for both tomorrow night and Wednesday afternoon, and we'll see you then at Riverfront. Now, Seaver going tomorrow night against Whitson. Wednesday in the 12:30 affair, it'll be Mike Lacoste making his second start of the year against right-hander John Montefusco. Joe Bob Nepper had a rough go of it last year, 9-12, 465, and we've seen him when he was a better pitcher than that.
Well, Marty, he certainly is a better pitcher than what his record says of last year, but when you have control problems, of course, you open a lot of avenues for teams to score runs, and I think maybe this might have been a little bit of Bob's problem last year, maybe not so much in walks, but working behind a lot of hitters. And certainly when you're behind batters, you're going to invite trouble, and I would think that this might have been one of Bob's problems last year. But 2 years ago, it was just find the left-handers you'd want to watch operate.
Well, the man who was named today as a National League Player of the first week of the 1980 season, Dave Collins, to lead it off.
Concepcion at third base, nobody out. George Foster, the batter. Giants lead 4-0. Nepper working from the windup. And Foster takes high and outside a ball. Delivers the 1-0. Foster takes it high, and it's 2 balls, no strikes, and Nepper asks for another baseball from plate umpire Dutch Renner. That's the second triple of the year by the Reds. The other belongs to Junior Kennedy. Nepper delivers. Foster takes. Ball 3. 3-0 the count. We might get some activity possibly in the Giant bullpen. Nothing going on right now as Milt May goes to the mound to have a word with Bob Nepper. Gary Lavelle and Randy Moffett. And now they start taking off their parkas and jackets and head on to the bullpen to start throwing. 3-0 the count to George Foster. Foster, 1 foot out of the batter's box, 1 in, and now settles back into the batter's box. Nepper delivers a 3-0. That's a strike called at 3-1. Gary Lavelle heads to the Giant bullpen along with Randy Moffett to start throwing. Concepcion at third, no out. 3-1 delivery. Foster swings and fouls it back over our head, and a full count to George. Johnny Bench waiting on deck. Again the 3-2. Swung on, line to the diving Stennett at second base, who picks it off, moving off to his right. A 1 away. Concepcion holds at third, and the batter will be Johnny Bench. John has walked and popped out to Milt May in foul territory. Infield playing back. Nepper delivers. Bench swings and pops it up. Right side. McCovey out. Now Stennett over. He's calling, and Rennie has it. Tagging and holding is Concepcion at third. So we got a break, but we've not taken advantage of it to this point. As Bench pops out to Rennie Stennett behind first base. Shallow right. 2 away, and Ray Knight the batter. Ray 0 for 2, hit into a force out in the second.
And a fly ball to right in the 5th. Bob Knepper blowing his neck. Could have been out of the inning. Knight takes high from Knepper, a ball. Knepper delivers. Knight looks at a breaking ball for a called strike at the knees. 1-1. Giant outfield is straight away. Darrell Evans deep at third. Knepper's 1-1 delivery. Swung on line to center field. That's a base hit, and Concepcion scores. It's a 4-1 ball game. Ray Knight drills one by Knepper and into center field. The Reds are on the scoreboard, and the batter will be Danny Dreesen. Third hit of the game for Cincinnati. Ray Knight, that his first RBI of the year. Covey will play behind Knight at first base. The stretch by Knepper. And the pitch to Dreesen. Dan swings and chops it foul. At the plate, Danny 0 for 2 has popped out to Evans in foul territory at third and was called out on strikes in the 5th. Dreesen over the on-deck circle to get the rosin bag. Junior Kennedy waiting on deck. We got Dave Tomlin throwing in the Reds bullpen. Moffitt and Lavelle both throwing in the Giant bullpen. Stretched by Knepper, the 0-1. Dreesen takes a breaking ball high, and the count evens 1-1. Knepper delivers. Dreesen swings and fouls straight back. A ball, 2 strikes to Danny. Knepper to the belt. The pitch. Swung on and missed. Got him with a sweeping curveball, and that's the 6th strikeout for Bob Knepper.
Cincinnati needing 4 runs to even things up here against Bob Knepper as they come up for their final shot. And again, Dave Bristol leaving nothing to chance, has his 2 hammers ready, Randy Moffitt and Gary Lavelle. It'll be Concepcion, Foster, bench, and hopefully more in the ninth. Reds have had only 3 hits. The Giants have had but 6. They certainly have made the most of their runs and hits. 5 runs, 6 hits. Davey has scored the only Cincinnati run after tripling to lead off the 7th inning. He's 1 for 3. And he's 6 for 20 on the year. Milton A lobs one down to Rennie Stennett. The ball around the Giant infield, and Davey ready to go. Knepper back behind the mound, getting some of the dirt out of his spikes. Houston has added another run. It leads the Atlanta Braves now 3-1. Of course, if the Astros win that one and the Reds lose this one, those 2 clubs would be tied for first in the National League West with 4-1 records. And, well, if San Diego should beat the Dodgers tonight, they also would be 4-1. Here's Concepcion. Here's Knepper. Strike call. That's high. 1 ball and 1 strike. Knepper has continued to work quick all night. He misses high and inside to Dave Concepcion. 2 balls and a strike. Bob has fanned 7. He has walked only 2. Swung on and hit in the middle of the diamond and out into center field for a base hit. Davey hitting a low line drive off the end of the bat to begin the 9th with a hit up the middle. Now George Foster, 2 fly balls to center and a vicious liner to second base has been the bat story on the Reds power plant tonight. Well, Bob Nepper, after his 29th Major League complete game, Foster waits on the pitch, and here it comes. Up and in, a ball 1. Foster steps out as Nepper starts into his stretch. Now the pitch. Foul back and out of play. 1-1. Well, Georgia, one-time San Francisco Giant, native Californian, signed with the Giants, came over to the Reds, and boy, the rest is history. 1-1 the count. He hits a high fly ball into left center field. Terry Whitfield moves into the alley and gives way to Larry Herndon, who makes the catch for the out. Center fielder Herndon grabs Foster's fly ball. 1 gone for Johnny Bench. John has drawn a walk, popped up foul to May, and popped up to Stennett. 0 for 2. Giants leading at 5-1. 1 out and 1 on in the bottom half of the 9th inning. Bench takes it down and in for ball 1. Johnny hit career homer number 333 yesterday. Missing, no, or did it or not? Apparently no, it was outside. 2-0. Nepper checking Concepcion at first. Bench swings at a high fastball and didn't get it. 2-1. Bullpen quiet for Cincinnati. Same duo continue to throw for the Giants. Right-hander Moffitt, left-hander Lavelle. Here's a pitch. Here's a fly ball hit down the left field line. That's hit well, but it's curving, and it's in the seats, a foul ball. Now Johnny Bench comes back to await a 2-2 pitch from Bob Nepper. He bangs a bat handle on the AstroTurf to make sure he didn't break that bat. Don't forget, second game of this series coming up, 8:05 tomorrow night. Tom Seaver, his first start of the year. Giants pitcher, right-hander Ed Whitson. Navy off the bag at first. McCovey plays behind him. Bench pops it up, but no play as May looks at the ball ride back into the seats. Nepper with his back to the plate at the base of the mound. Facing out towards center field, blows into his left hand and now moves back on top of the mound. Ray Knight on deck. Concepcion single to center. Foster fly to center. And now the 2-2 to Bench. Bouncing ball, third baseman, off the glove of Evans. He picks it up but will have no play. Darrell backhanded that ball and it got off and rolled into foul territory. That's going to be scored an infield base hit for Johnny Bench. Here's Ray Knight, who singled in the run in the 7th inning. Ray picking up his first run batted into the season. Ground ball, third baseman up with it. Evans goes to Stennett. Stennett throwing to first, not in time to get the double play. I think Johnny Bench having something to say to Bruce Fremming, thinking that maybe the throw to Evans pulls Stennett off the bag, but apparently Johnny satisfied that was not the case. So Knight hits into a force play at second, and with runners on the corners and 2 out, the batter will be Danny Dreesen. Danny has popped up and struck out twice. Concepcion third, Knight at first. Strike call. Dreesen hits one into left field, base hit. In to score comes Concepcion. Moving to second goes Knight. The Reds with a run home here in the ninth inning to make it 5-2, and Dave Bristol out of the dugout and on his way to the mound. He might be on his way to bringing Bob Nepper back with him. In fact, he is, as he signals for the bullpen. And it looks like he's going to bring on Gary Lavelle to face a right-handed batting Junior Kennedy. So the Reds with a run here in the ninth inning, still trailing by 3. The tie-in run will be at the plate. And left-hander Gary Lavelle will be on to face Junior Kennedy. So in the ninth, a break in the action, and we'll be back with more in just a moment. Gary Lavelle is on now to try and bail Bob Nepper out as the Reds have come up with 3 ninth-inning hits, a single by Concepcion, an infield base hit by Bench, and a 2-out run-producing single by Danny Dreesen. And now Gary Lavelle makes his 3rd appearance of the season. He is 0-1 with a .225 earned run average. In 3 2/3 innings, he surrendered 2 hits and 3 runs, only one of them earned, has fanned 3 and walked 3. I'm sure Dave Bristol well aware of the fact that should Kennedy get on, still on that Cincinnati bench are the likes of Ken Griffey and Harry Spillman, both left-handed batters. You have to think that even if Kennedy does get on, Dave Bristol might well stay with Gary Lavelle. 5-2 Giants with 2 out. Lavelle pitches to Kennedy, and Junior checks his swing. It's low for a ball. And the Reds are battling in the ninth. Here's Lavelle ready with a 1-0 to the plate. Kennedy takes it upstairs, ball 2. Two balls and no strikes. Junior has doubled, grounded out, and drawn a walk. Pitch. Swung on and fouled out of play. 2-1. Well, the Reds have evened the hit totals up at 6, but right now, small consolation. Kennedy ground ball, diving, no play by the shortstop. Here comes the runner-rounding third and home, Ray Knight. Junior Kennedy grounds one into left field. A run is home, and it's 5-3. So Junior Kennedy keeps things going, and Ken Griffey will be brought out of the dugout to pinch hit for Dave Tomlin. Johnny LeMaster dove for that ball, but it got by. So the tie-in runs are on base. The winning run is at the plate. 4 hits here in the ninth inning have scored a pair of runs. Gary Lavelle will stay loose by throwing down to Milt May. Ken Griffey taking his time in the batter's box. And Griffey this season has gone 4 for 16. A triple and 4 RBIs. San Francisco 5, Cincinnati 3. Dreesen at second base, Kennedy at first. Junior carries a tie-in run. Left-hander against left-hander. Lavelle looks him over, sends in the pitch. Griffey takes it down and away for a ball. Now, both runs here in the ninth inning charged to the departed Bob Nepper, and should Dreesen score, he also would be charged to the starting pitcher's totals. 2 balls and no strikes. Outfield deep and around toward right for Griffey. A lot of room down the left field line and also in left center. The 2-0 delivery. That's in there. Breaking ball for a strike. Nepper looks down to Milt May. Runners leading first and second base. The stretch, the pause, and the pitch. That is ball 3. Kenny out away from the plate, knocking the dirt away from his spikes. Now settles slowly back in. Lavelle needs a strike. He straightens up on the mound, brings home the 3-1 pitch. Griffey takes ball 4. The bases are loaded. Dave Bristol back to the mound. Let's see if he'll bring Randy Moffett on to face Dave Collins as we pause for station identification on the Cincinnati Reds Baseball Network. Now the tying runs are now in scoring position. The bases are loaded. Collins is 0 for 4. He's facing Gary Lavelle for the first time tonight, and against left-handers this season, Collins has gone 1 for 6. A single of any distance now would tie it up. Lavelle from the stretch. The pitch. Swung on. Fly ball. Right center field. Herndon on the run. He can't get it. Here comes one run in. The ball gets away. Here comes another one across. Collins heads to third. The Reds have done it as Collins triples to right center field. He clears the bases, and the Reds win it by a score of 6-5. Dave Collins with a gapper to right center field. Danny Dreesen, Junior Kennedy, Ken Griffey all score, and the Reds have done it again. 4 runs at the bottom of the 9th inning, and the Reds have pulled another one out in this young 1980 season as they defeat the San Francisco Giants by a final score of 6-5. We'll be back in just a moment. It looked for the longest kind of time tonight that the Giants would hand the Reds their first loss of this 1980 season. San Francisco struck quickly in the first inning against Paul Moscow as Billy North opened with a base on balls, and Darrell Evans hit his first homer of the year, a blast to deep right center to give San Francisco a 2-0 lead. Giants made it 3-0 with a run in the third inning. Darrell Evans led off with a base on balls. 1 out later, Willie McCovey singled to left center, moving Evans to third, and Whitfield's high bouncer to first baseman Danny Dreesen got Evans in to give the Giants a 3-0 lead. Going to the 7th inning against Bob Nepper, the Reds had enjoyed a one-hit night, and that was a leadoff double in the third inning by Junior Kennedy. Nepper in complete command, but in the 7th inning, Dave Concepcion tripled down the right field line, and 2 outs later, Ray Knight lined a low single into center field to drive the run in and make it a 3-1 ball game. That actually 4-1 at that time, because in the top of the 7th inning, Milt May against newcomer Mario Soto hit his first homer of the year to right field, and the Reds came back to get that run-producing base hit by Ray Knight to make it 4-1. The Giants made it 5-1 with a run home in the 9th inning against Dave Tomlin. A 1-out double to right center field by Rennie Stennett. Milt May bounced out with Stennett holding at second. Johnny LeMaster then drew the intentional walk to make way for Nepper, and he caused the strategy to backfire by lining a single to center field, scoring Stennett to make it 5-1. So the Reds were looking at a 4-run deficit as they moved to the bottom half of the 9th inning, and to lead it off, Dave Concepcion lined a single to center. George Foster fly to center, but then Johnny Bench hit a ground ball over the bag at third that was knocked down by Darrell Evans' no play. An infield base hit for number 5, and the Reds had him at first and second. Ray Knight grounded to third baseman Evans, who turned that into a force play of Bench at second base, and the Reds had runners at first and third with 2 down. Danny Dreesen then singled to left field. That made it 5-2. At that point, Dave Bristol brought on left-hander Lavelle to face a right-handed batting Junior Kennedy. Kennedy continued his hot hitting with a run-scoring single to left field, making it 5-3. Ken Griffey was sent up to bat for winning pitcher Dave Tomlin. He drew a base on balls to set the stage for Dave Collins. Dave had gone 0 for 4 on the night, was facing Lavelle for the first time with the bases loaded, 2 out. In the 9th inning, the Reds 2 runs down, and here's what happened. A single of any distance now would tie it up. Lavelle from the stretch. The pitch. Swung on. Fly ball. Right center field. Herndon on the run. He can't get it. Here comes one run in. The ball gets away. Here comes another one across. Collins heads to third. The Reds have done it as Collins triples to right center field. He clears the bases, and the Reds win it by a score of 6-5. A big, big blow for Dave Collins. Another big, exciting come-from-behind win by the Cincinnati Reds in the bottom of the ninth inning as they sent 8 batters to the plate. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 had base hits. And the Reds win it 6-5. Winning pitcher Dave Tomlin, his first decision. Gary Lavelle suffers his second loss of the year without a win. Reds had 6 runs, 8 hits, no errors, and 5 left. The Giants 5 runs, 6 hits, no errors, and they stranded 5. The Reds are now 5-0 on the year, with game number 2 of this series coming up at 8:05 tomorrow night. Tom Seaver makes his first start of the season, and for the Giants, a right-hander, Ed Whitson. Hope you can make it out, but if not, by all means, join us on the Reds Radio Network. We'll be on the air with the pregame shows beginning at 7:35 Cincinnati time. Again, the final score tonight in a game that took 2 hours and 26 minutes to play before a crowd of 15,757. The Reds with 5 in the ninth to defeat the Giants 6-5.